What's up, y'all? We're back here for more conversation. So let's just wait for people to come over. And oh, yeah, Natalie's already here. We have more people. I'm going to go straight to the point, all right? So I'm having a conversation with Teacher Will. I'm going to put him back on. So, Teacher Will, invitation going your way. There you go. There we go. Let's continue this beautiful conversation we're having. Teacher Will is back here.
Back for part two. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning. Now it's the other. Now they're going to see the passionate, calm side of Teacher Will. Thank you for inviting me back, brother.
Thank you so much for being here. I know it's 2:24 in the morning.
Brother, listen to me. Listen to me. I'm up. Like I said, let's continue. So, it's all good. I'm enjoying myself. We bring that out in each other. Good. So I love it. I love it. It's all good, brother.
Thank you so much. All right, actually, Teacher Will, there's something that I don't know about you. It's just like, I know you're American, but where exactly in America are you from?
Oh, got it. Okay, so quick version. So my name is Teacher Will. I was born in Louisiana, Natchitoches, which is like 4 hours north of New Orleans. I don't have my southern accent even that much anymore unless I go see my family. I grew up most of my life in, most of my life in New Jersey. And then from Jersey, my friends and family, my family's in Chicago. And then I came to Saudi Arabia in 2011 because we had a financial crisis. And Brother Will needed coin. That means Brother Will needed money. And then they suggested that I go back, that I looked at 3 different countries. One was China, one was South Korea, and the other was Saudi Arabia. And so I came to Saudi Arabia for many reasons, but the 2 primary reasons, one the job offer that I had at the time was the most beneficial financially, and I wanted to experience a completely different culture from America. And so as a result of that, I was home in December and January, visiting family, which was amazing. And I think the ability, and I know that you've done this because you've been to America and you love to travel, and you've been in many different countries, 18 or 17 and counting.
That's right.
Is that, oh, I know you, bro. I do the intel, bro.
I was like, hold up, man. You know the number. He knows the figure.
Brother.
Facts and figure.
You have to be in this industry. But anyway, so no, I think that one of the things that I would encourage anyone, regardless, is that one of the things that I find grateful by living in a different culture and living in a different country has been the following. A lot of different things. But the 2 primary things is that I have a greater appreciation for my own culture. I've learned about another culture. And it has given me appreciation to understand that there are different ways of thinking, and people do that. And I hope that it certainly made me a much more humbled person. And certainly I would hope that it has impacted made me a better teacher. Because I think that what a lot of times people don't talk about often, or if we do, you and I will talk about it, but I think what's interesting is that people don't understand the impact that culture makes on acquisition of learning. And then the other thing that I think by living in Saudi Arabia and traveling around is that I always knew this, but I have a greater appreciation because of certain places that I've traveled and places that I've lived, is that freedom is never free. And I knew that when I was home, but I definitely have an appreciation of that. So I would encourage anyone, if they have ability to learn about different parts of the world, it will help them, hopefully, at least me, have a greater appreciation of myself. And one way that you can do that is by English.
Yes, definitely. I mean, I totally agree with that. It's just like, as you just aforementioned, I've been to this 17 different countries, and every time I travel, I look at Brazil from a different viewpoint. I was like, well, I never actually paid attention to this simple detail that Brazilian people have, or that my city has, and I like it, and I somewhat missed it, but I didn't know I was missing that. You know what I mean? It's just
Yes.
like Just like I love the
Yes.
United States. I mean, every time I go to the United States, I have a great time. I learn something. I shop around. I oh man, I travel around. I drive. I love the roads. I love the language, the food, and everything. I love the culture. And then I come back home, and then I don't stop loving the United States. I actually develop a bigger love for Brazil. You know what I mean? It's just like
Yes.
it
Yes.
doesn't mean that
Yes.
I don't love that other country anymore. I mean, I still love the United States, but now I look at Brazil and say, man, well, this bread here, we don't have it in the
Yes.
United States. Oh my God, I miss this
Yes.
bread. Or man, oh, this food in here, this is specific from my city. I love this food. I mean, I've
Yes.
missed it. And, things
Brother.
like that.
Right. I
So,
mean, I remember when I went home, I mean, besides seeing family, I remember this. I think I was telling a couple people here and so, yo, I remember going to the soul food restaurant and I remember ordering probably about like $200 worth of soul food. And I remember walking into the soul food restaurant and I was like, can I have a pound of macaroni and cheese, pound of oxtails, pound? And the woman looked at me and she was like,
you've been away for a while.
and she said, no, she was like, baby, she's like, babe, are you okay? And I'm like, yes, ma'am, I'm fine. I've been away. I'm home for the holiday, And, she said, well, where do you live? And I was like, Saudi Arabia. And then she was like, where is that? And I was like, okay, I'd explain that. But I was like, but they typically didn't have soul food. So, no, I definitely understand that. And I think the thing is that hopefully anyone that travels, I hope they would have that. I mean, I have a greater appreciation more so than I did at home when I lived in America. When I go back home, it takes me about a week to adjust because it does. It takes me a week to adjust. But I normally say that I have every time I go home, I have a greater appreciation about my
That's
country.
right.
That doesn't
And you
mean
know
that my
what?
country
Something
should do
that
good or
something
bad.
that is really interesting about this traveling thing and about going back home is the fact that we break down a lot of prejudices we have, right? It's just like, okay, last year I decided to go on a trip with my friend and who was my partner too at school, teacher Marcio. We decided to go to Croatia because one of my best friends is from Croatia, and we decided to go there. And then when we got to Croatia, we decided to go around the Balkans. So we're just like,
Yes.
well, we should go to Montenegro, we should go to Serbia, we should go to Bosnia, and all those places. So whenever one of them said Bosnia, the first thing that came to my mind was war. I was like,
Yeah.
hold up, man. I was like, man, I don't want to go to Bosnia, man. That's like war going on. And the first thing I did is like, after this thought, the first thing I did was like, man, let me go online and check the real situation in there. And then I saw in there, the war finished 26 years ago. I was like, why the hell do I still hold that in mind? That they're in war. They're not.
Right.
This guy's been peaceful for 26 years. Hold up, man, something is wrong about my thought. So that's when we got to Croatia, and then I talked to my friend Daniel. His name is Daniel Lonchar. I said, Daniel, is it okay for us to go to Bosnia? And that's what he said. Man, you really want to go to Bosnia? Man, Sarajevo is my favorite city in the world. I was like, you're serious?
Nice.
Man, they've got the best food. All the religious are together. I mean, they live peacefully. We have to go there. We decided to go to Bosnia. When I got to Bosnia, man, I fell in love right away. I loved the country. I loved the city. Sarajevo was definitely one of my favorite cities. Every time I talk to my girlfriend about traveling, I always go like this. Natalie, I have to take you to this place. It's Sarajevo, the capital of Bosnia Herzegovina.
Ooh, teacher Rodrigo. See,
I was just
okay.
like, well, I was actually just able to break down the prejudice because I decided to take that step into researching. You know what I mean? It's just like, I don't know if it happens to you when people, when you go back home and they say, hey, I live in Saudi Arabia.
Oh, what happened?
Oh, really?
Oh, wait. Well, oh God, yes, it happened. Well, okay, so very quickly. Somebody asked the question, do I get reverse culture shock? It would take a time for me to adjust, so that's the reverse culture shock, yes. And I think this applies to most people, so I'll make a general statement. Yes, when I come home, people have certain assumptions of Saudi Arabia that is not necessarily the case. Some might be true, some not. Basically, what I tell people always this, it's whatever. It's kind of like, you know what, don't believe the hype. It's if you're into like hip hop and rap, there's a famous artist that said that. I think what is best is that when you're able to experience something on your own. But I need to applaud you for saying the following. You said the P word that I applaud you for. You said the word prejudice. And I give you credit for that because a lot of people say, oh, I'm not prejudiced. Oh, I'm not prejudiced. Well, Teacher Will is prejudiced, and I have to recognize that I am. And I have to pray about that daily. And I have to recognize that I have a cultural bias. So, Teacher Rodrigo, I give you the fact that you admit that because you have the definition of its own, learners, in case prejudice is, if you don't know what it is, it's a preconceived notion, opinion, thought about a group of people, places, or thing. The best way to experience someone other from yourself or other from your own culture is actually if you know the people, you actually know someone, or you go to that country. That's the best way. If you can't, then, you know, like say if you can't go to America, then it's kind of like, okay, do you have any American friends that you know or things of that nature? But you cannot believe everything that you have. And so I think oftentimes prejudice is an ugly head that I give you credit for because you recognize that. And learners, what I would think is, it's just a question. Not saying that you've thought about it or not, learners. But when it comes to teaching, are you prejudiced in terms of who and what you think a teacher should be, or who and how you think a teacher should look like, or how they should speak? So that's what I would have to think. That, you know, the best way, that's why I love traveling, to your point, teacher. That's why I love traveling, and I love it. And the other thing I would finally say about this whole aspect about prejudice and culture is that I recognize and understand that the world is different, and that's fine. I just because I'm American, I don't impose my Americanness on others, and I hope people would do that with me. But I recognize and realize that, you know, openness and diversity and acceptance and tolerance, those are concepts that everybody in the world is not used to, nor do some people want. And I think as teachers, we have to be honored about that. Hold on, Teacher Will, I kind of feel like you got a bored of America because when you get there, you came back to... No, I'm not bored by Saudi Arabia. It's just like, I'm not bored by it. But when I go home, it's just like, it's a reverse culture shock because... And Teacher Rodrigo, I think you can attest this. I don't know if you felt like this, but it's kind of like with as much traveling you're doing. Like, I sometimes kind of feel like a fish out of water when I'm home in America, and I definitely sometimes feel like a fish out of water when I'm here in Saudi Arabia. Because why? Because I have that cultural view, and that, yes, you know, at the end of the day, I don't care who. Let me say it like this: I don't care who anybody is. Most people only know about themselves, however they define themselves.
I mean, one concept that I like to put in my mind is, look at this, man. Right there, there's a map that my girlfriend gave to me last Christmas, and that is one of those maps that you scratch off the country you visited.
Yes, yes, yes.
And I believe that everybody is born 100% from that country or that place where you're from. So it's just like, when I was born, I was 100% Brazilian. That's my belief, okay? That's not based on scientific articles or whatever, studies or anything. It's just my personal belief. I believe that you were born 100%, like you were born 100% American. I was born 100% Brazilian. And then when you start traveling or you start learning a different language, that 100% starts to dissolve, and you start to become part of that country, part of that culture. So then, well, just by speaking English, I can connect with American people like that, or I can watch a show and I don't even have to put the subtitles on anymore. Because I was watching Game of Thrones, and it's like, well, I don't need the subtitles. I understand it. And I can connect with that culture, which means that, well, my objective in life is not to be 100% something. It's to be 5% Brazilian, 5% American, 3% Indian, 2%
Brother, you know what you reminded me of, and I just thought about this, and this is interesting. I think that, with English or any other additional language that you speak, or even by travel, my goal is to be human. And I think when I'm human, I can respect other people's cultures. I want to be human. And everybody in the world does not want to be human. It's not right or wrong. It's just my opinion. Everybody doesn't want to be human. I'll use William Land. There's certain parts, if I go to William Land, where it's like, you know what, you want to be human, you can be killed for saying that. Or if not killed, then you certainly could be like thrown in jail, or, they'll throw me in jail in William Land, or I'll be ostracized by family, or whatever. And that's real. But that's my particular goal. And I think that's the value that English has along with any other language, or definitely by traveling. The more I've traveled, I mean, and you know this because we said this, I'm like, yo, brother, you got to get me, after this whole corona and stuff like that, I need a gig. I need a job, like a little like week getaway, like some seminar in some Brazil, because I got to see you. I got to see your country, because that's a goal of mine. You know what I mean?
Look at
that's the battle.
Look at this, I don't know, Stephanie just said, you have the postal image from Brazil, my friend. You don't have any idea of the reality there. So let me address this one.
Okay.
I'm from here. I mean, I have a lifetime experience about this country. I mean,
so the reality, what does she mean?
What do you mean by reality, boy?
I know. What does that mean?
Man. Born and raised in Brazil. I know the reality here. I mean, I didn't study the country. I live it.
Yeah, I would be curious about what that means, because I can only relate it to the United States of America. Like when somebody says, I don't know the reality of America, and I can only relate it to my thing. I'll be very honest about my country. So I would be interested about what that person meant, and they're entitled to that opinion about I don't understand about the reality. What I would say is this. Let me talk about William Land, all right? Let me talk about my country. I don't even have a country, but let me talk about William Land.
Will Land.
Will Land, that's it.
Will
in Will Land, you know what? In Will Land, there's good and bad. You know what? In Will Land, there's great prosperity. There's great opportunity. In Will Land, there's racism. There's sexism. There's hatred. There's religious persecution. In William Land, we have a great disparity of wealth. So that's my reality. So in Will Land. So I think oftentimes what people do is that, like I'll use my country, not Will Land, but America for a moment. A lot of times I hear people complain about America, and they certainly have their right to. I'm just kind of like, okay, well, before you take a look at somebody else's country, look in your own backyard. Right. Like you complain about this or that or whatever like that. There are still people that I know that are still trying to come to America, whether it's legal, illegal, whatever, to escape the persecution that they have in their country. So, reality it's a very good word, but I would need more information, because it's kind of like, I understand the reality of America. America is when we say it's an imperfect union, I'm like, we're built on life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Really? And with that being said, we had a bunch of white folks that had slaves. So that Constitution of the United States was never for people looking like me. Right? So I understand the reality of America, but it doesn't, I can try to hopefully look at it objectively. So
that's right.
I think every place, every country has good and bad.
That's like one of the conversations I was having with the friend of mine I was talking to. He was just like, you don't know the reality. And say, okay, so teach me what the reality is. He was just like, no, it's just because I was watching the news. I was like, oh, okay, let me stop the conversation then. I said, brother, you said that you were watching the news and you're telling me I don't know the reality. Boy, you're watching TV, man. You're watching
But brother,
TV.
you know what I think? You know what I think is important? It's interesting. I think that learner, and thank you for that comment, whoever you were. I think what a better word I learned, or what I would at least made me think of, is the perspective. I like to know about perspectives of different people other than my own. I think perspectives are important to know. And I think oftentimes in Will Land, let me say it like this, in Will Land, I think that perspectives in terms of humans are not, we're not learned. There's a lack of empathy sometimes, I think, that we have as human beings. So perspective means to me is, I want to know, like, one of the reasons why Rodrigo and I get along, we share certain linkages, right? He's Brazilian, I'm American. We share other linkages, right? But I want to know his perspective. And I think oftentimes what happens is that people, going back to your word prejudice, people have this perception or prejudice of what it is because they only want social media. It's the same thing as Chicago. It's like, oh, why do you live in Chicago? Chicago is like a bunch of mafia and drug addicts. I'm like, yes, that exists, but we have more. And so I think what becomes important, at least what I try to do humanly and try to impact that in terms of my teaching, is give about different perspectives. Everybody has a right to their perspective if I would listen.
That's right.
But yeah, there are isms in the world.
That's
I
crazy.
ain't the trust.
When I hear people generalizing things like this out, you don't know the reality of Brazil. When I hear something like that, it feels like, man, you don't even know how big Brazil is. So which Brazil are you talking about? It's like,
I mean,
the
yeah.
South, I mean, my city, the Northeast, the Middle East, what part of the country you're talking about?
Right. No,
so
I mean,
many different realities, right?
you know what? Seriously, hold on. Public service announcement. After this whole Corona's done and all this other stuff, anybody from Brazil that can get Teacher Will a gig, like, y'all just pay me to get there. I'll sleep on the floor. Let me do some like seminars or something for. I'm in love with your country because, you know, back home, I grew up with a lot of, well, not a lot, but I grew up with a lot of Brazilians in New Jersey and stuff. In Newark, we have Newark, New Jersey, and then in Chicago, we have a large Brazilian population. So there are certain linkages that I feel, you know, when it comes to, you know, Brazilians, I call them my cousins. I mean, there are more people of African descent in Brazil than there is in the United States of America. So and your country has a rich history in terms of music, in terms of art, in terms of food, in terms of sport. So hopefully, you know, when all of this is over, I will be able to get a gig because I would love to visit your country along with others.
And you know you have a place to stay at any time.
Thank you, brother. Yeah. Like, oh, that'd be hot.
You can crash my
Will. Oh my God.
Anything.
Could you imagine? EP Dog and Teacher Will give like a seminar for a week. Yo, you got to make that happen, like Rodrigo. Get like a sponsor or something. I'm like, oh my God, I got to visit. But no, I mean, I think that's the important thing. Language and English opens up a tool, and I think hopefully that what I usually try to say to learners is again, simple things. Own it. Don't be so hard on yourself. Make a mistake. And I really need to say this, learners. What my job is, or one of the things that I like is that I believe that my role is it's a choice. And that choice is to give you the opportunity to help yourself. I find it interesting, learners, and I really need to say this in my own sense of integrity. You know, EB Dog is on here, he's on Instagram, he's on YouTube, right? Why doesn't he have 10,000 followers yet? He gives content. Are you looking at the content that he and other content providers do? Or are you just like flicking up on the screen? Are you taking the information on social media, whether it's Instagram or YouTube? That information to you, brothers and sisters, that's available for you at no cost. And so when people have the opportunity to give you stuff, then take that opportunity because it's there for you. Because technically speaking, you have this at your fingertips or YouTube or whatever like that. So learners, you might want to owe it to yourself that when these opportunities and videos are there, just don't like, I can't tell you what not to do. Let me say it like this. I would encourage you or have you think about the following. Sometimes when you're just in this, you know, it's like if you're in the process of studying or whatever like that, sometimes you see something nice and you just click on it because you click on it, and that's great. But then do you actually revisit that content that Rodrigo's doing? Do you actually study it? Do you actually take the time? And for some of you, you know, Instagram or other social medias might not be the right vehicle because, I mean, people come on social media for many different reasons, and I do think that the majority of people come on for entertainment. But the only thing that I suggest is that learners, you have content out there that's for free, that it's no cost. So govern yourselves on that. That's the opportunity. If you say, you know, I drop videos because I choose to do it, but what I do find intellectually, oh, well, have you done a video on, like, oh, what's the present perfect? I'm like, you know, I just go to people now. I'm like, yo, go to my YouTube channel. So
Yes.
take the opportunity, learners, that people are giving. Take the it's all there. And I'm not saying you learners don't appreciate this. I'm not, because you wouldn't be up at 9:20 or 2:30 in the morning. I'm not saying you don't appreciate it, but I'm showing that one of my favorite idioms. I'm like, walk the walk and talk the talk. There are some of you, respectfully, there are some of you that take this for granted. And the easiest thing that you can do is, if you like Teacher Rodrigo, click on that like, click on that follow, let people know. That's the easiest thing you can do. That's at no cost. My family, the ATW family, knows where it's like, you know what? Sharing is caring, right? And so it's not about me. It's about us. If you like the work that Teacher Rodrigo does, then what does it cost you to share? It's nothing. It's at no cost. And appreciate it, because learners, real talk, this is what we really don't tell you. But I'll be the honest one again. I'm not saying Teacher Rodrigo is not, because he is. I'll be the honest one. Learners, some of these people some of these content providers that you think that you follow, they don't care nothing about you at all. And that's their right. That's their right. That's their right. I'm not saying that people have to do lives or whatever like that. But what I'm saying is, real talk is, there have been people, content providers, that no longer. If you look around, ladies and gentlemen, I really want you to think about it. Content that's available for you at no cost, at least do it to yourself, because more and more that information is going to be going away. And more content providers are not going to be doing that. Why? Because they don't feel that you value them at all. So recognize and realize that it's like, you know what? Oh, and some of the people that you think have your back as teachers, and again, my opinion, right? I don't need my opinion. I'm like, all I'm asking is like, yo, if Rodrigo's out there and you think his content's good, what's so hard to share? Any content provider, what's so hard about that? Because this stuff, it will no longer be free. Think about, and one last thing, Rodrigo, and for these people, and it's not always, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry, and I'm going to shut the hell up after this. It's not always looking at people and looking at the number. How many followers do they have? Or do they have this color hair? Or this, because some of the reasons why is, I'm like, you get bamboozled into that. So just appreciate that, learners. I'm not saying that you don't, but I want to be honest with that. Because this stuff, social media, and all this, less and less stuff will become free. Less and less stuff will become free. And it's happened a year ago when I said that. And I'm not saying that you don't appreciate it, but I'm just being honest. My sense of honesty.
That's right.
Was that too honest, Rodrigo? Was that too honest?
That's right, man. I really appreciate your words. I really appreciate that. Really do. And that's crazy. I mean, I don't have a lot of followers like a lot of this teachers out there do. But one thing that I really keep in mind is just like everybody that talks to me on this social media, I respond, I reply to.
That's it. And you choose to do it. And Rodrigo, I'm sorry, I got to go in one more time. And you know what, learner, get off the number, because you know what, sometimes, listen, for me, I try to be the same person I am when I had 561 followers to the point that I have 58,000 followers. I will sit back and say this, and I'll be straight up honest with you. I want to grow. My goal is to have 100,000, right? But why is my goal to have 100,000? Because I want to go to businesses and organizations out there and say, you know what are you giving to my ATW family? But it's more than just a number. Reality check. Some of y'all just get so, I've never bought a follower in my life. I'm not knocking if anybody does or does not. That is their business. I'm talking about me, I swear. I've never bought a follower in my life, because you know what? I want engagement. I want people that are healthy, right? I want to grow to be of service. Reality check, learners. Sometimes people buy fake followers. What you need to look at is engagement. What you need to look at the service that they're providing. So just don't get stuck on like, oh my God, I'm going to follow this teacher because this teacher's got 100,000 followers and they look this way. Are they providing your needs? Are they teaching you? Are they answering your message? Do they feel like that they're sincere, or do you just follow them because they look a certain way?
That's right.
And then when you see somebody else, you're like, well, I don't know. I'm like, learners, be engaged in the process. Be the change that you want to be. And fake, as Vicky said, fake will always be fake. Fake will always be fake. Like knows like. So some of y'all get so stuck on the number Well, damn it. Really? We all start at 0. And just because somebody got a million, reality check. Next, what I want y'all to look at is sometimes when you look at these people that got like 100,000 followers, 50,000 followers, whatever like that, go and look at their video and see how many likes, or better yet, how many engagements they have. Because I've been, one of the reasons why I love that my brother is because it's like, we've got like knows like. Some of y'all get bamboozled. I don't understand. I'm being so honest. They probably will not follow me. Oh my God. Some of y'all get like, oh my God, learn English in 30 days and you click.
That's right. Oh shit.
Some of y'all be like following somebody that got the fakest accent and y'all be clicking. And I'm like, really? Some of y'all be following people, look a certain way, talk a certain way, and then you read their comments and they don't even have basic English. And I'm like, it ain't my page. It ain't my page. So I'm not judging that, but I'm like, really? Where is the level of professionalism? Where is that level? Where is the sense of like when I say, or when Rago, excuse me, brother, says it's like, yo, I answer. He doesn't have to do that. Some of y'all like being oppressed. Uh-oh, is he here?
That's right.
Some of y'all like being oppressed and talked down by teachers. Some of y'all follow teachers that are bullies and treat you like crap, and then you follow them.
Exactly, man.
Like,
I've seen it. Look at this. Like, one of the things is that, look at it. I have about 7.5K just followers and all that shit. I don't care about these numbers. But what I do care is, for example, I'll just give you one example here. I have one follower. I mean, these followers are always here. DJ Duck, Emmanuel, my brother Reginaldo. These guys are always here, man. It doesn't matter what I post. They're always there, man, interacting with me because of the content. My sister Fernanda Avanti, always here. These people are important to me. Look at that. Fernanda just comment here. Come on, dog. Your followers only did that because your beautiful eyes.
Aww.
All right. So look at this. Those are amazing people. Look at that. Reginaldo, my brother, he just said that we are family.
See, but look what he said. But see, that's a family. See, that's the family. Like in the ATW family, we say like ride or die. Vicky and I say this all the time. It's like, yo, if you're a family, then it's like, you know what? Then share his content, y'all. Some of y'all like to just sing. I'm gonna get thrown off the internet. I come from a culture. I come from a perspective. I come from an environment where it's like, you know what? Oh my God, I'm gonna get thrown off.
Oh, by the way,
from an environment.
ELT Mona is here from Iran.
Okay. I come from an environment, and you'll get it, and I'll get it, and I know someone else will get on the line. I'm like, win-win. These ain't my followers. It's win-win. Win-win is this. I do a live with Rodrigo. Why? Because it's like I value, he values. It's win-win. It's win-win, learners. Some of y'all don't believe in win-win. It's I win, you lose. I'll look at the information that Rodrigo draws, but I ain't going to share it with nobody because why? I think I'm entitled to it. Oh, I'm going to get thrown off the live Instagram. I'm really good. But it is what it is. So that's the thing, true. Learner. Or how we think like, oh, well, what? I asked my learners at one time, I'm like, why do you follow? I did a video a long time ago. Like, I cannot control why people follow me. That's no problem. Like, I appreciate it. I appreciate every family member. Hope we grow. Hope we learn. But I understand, like I said earlier, I'm not everybody's cup of tea. But I did a video one time, and I asked learners, I'm like, why do you follow Teacher Will? Do you want to be entertained? Do you want to learn? Why do you follow me? Have you thought about that, learners? Why do you follow the people that you follow? And if somebody is treating you, like, I'm sorry, if somebody is treating me bad, disrespectful, rude, saying, on a live Instagram, cussing you out, telling you you're full of SH, and you still follow them, that has nothing to do with that teacher. That has to do with respect about yourself.
Yeah, that's right.
Let me shut up before I get thrown off. They're like, oh my God, they're too honest.
You said it. You said, tell him he said it. I'm gonna tell. I'm gonna share that shit. Real talk. All right, I'm very happy and honored because you're here, because you said what you said, and
The honor's mine,
thankful.
brother. What
I'm
questions do we
thankful.
got from the audience? Do we got any
Is it what?
questions from the audience? Do we
I
got
mean,
any
we
questions
might
from
have
the...
a couple. Well, we have a couple comments in here like you're the best. Skip the real and the quality of English too. Somebody said, "What nice guys." A lot of people laughing because we are funny together, man. I don't know if it
Well,
happens.
wait, no, it's like it's Batman and Robin. But here's the thing, learners. If there's a lot of things that can I dance to? No, I'm not dancing right now, Teacher Stu. I danced on the video. You can
Come
dance.
on, I
But
want to see
learners,
you do it. Throw me some
nah, nah,
steps.
nah,
Come
nah.
on.
You know what? I need to. I'm not on TikTok. Maybe I'll get on TikTok enough. Um, Vicky said, Vicky, I love Vicky. She's a very good ambassador, friend, colleague. She said we should have a show together. Listen, one of the things though, Rodrigo, if there's nothing that the learners got is, I want you learners, I said a lot of stuff. You can agree, disagree, it's my opinion. I hope that you respect it. And you know what? It's okay to disagree, no problem. That's the thing about humanity. But one of the things that I would encourage any content provider out there, and I'm specifically, I have love and respect for all countries, but I want to go to my Brazilian brothers and sisters for one moment. I'm not Brazilian, I got that. But I would encourage any content provider in Brazil, any content provider, whether you do anybody in the world, be the representation that you want. Stop waiting for someone to create your story. At the end of the day, tell your story because no one else is going to do it. And if you're in on social media, whether it's this platform or anybody or any other platform, nobody is going to tell your story better than you. Stop waiting for it. And sometimes when you were the first, whatever that means, when you were the first, you were sometimes, but you have a right to tell your story. And one of the ways that you can tell your story is through English. If you don't see somebody, make it. Stop waiting for someone to make your dream a reality.
Oh, I like the comment here. Look at this. My English routine just said, "These lives change lives." That's right. This is what we're about to
Hopefully,
do right here.
hopefully. I mean, I can't answer that. I mean, I hope. If it doesn't change lives, then you know what? To be honest with you, brother, I usually say this. I hope and I pray a lot. I've learned in life that I don't expect anything. So when people say like, oh, you know what? Oh, Teacher Will, you're the best. You're great. I appreciate that. I really do. What I say is it's not about me. It's about us. And if you like what Teacher Rodrigo's doing, better yet, learners, here's the dealio. If you like what I'm doing, if you like what Teacher Rodrigo's doing, it's like, you know what? Just let us know about the brand. If you could change one thing in the life
This
of your
goes for
followers,
you.
what would you choose?
Okay, let
Oh,
me
easily.
go
The
ahead.
first thing
Go
that
ahead.
came into my mind would be to have them believe in themselves more.
That's right. That's the only
That's all I
thing I
would say.
asked them for. It's just like go for whatever you put your mind to and believe in yourself. You can do it. If I could do it, you can do it too. I like
Brother,
that.
let's try. Yeah, that's what that would be the one. That's what if they could believe in themselves more. And then, you know, when it comes to English, I have to do a video on it. I don't know if I did, but I have an acronym beside the GPP. I would call it the MCC: motivation, courage, and consistency for people to achieve what they want to achieve in their life.
That's right. What about this one?
Oh, Vicky, that is a very good. Oh, by the way, let me introduce you to her. So Vicky Mattis, she's American, but she lives in Saudi. Her and I, she's the co-founder of the Stay at Home Club. You should have a show together called Say How It Is. You know, if we had that show together, you know, maybe one day when I go to Brazil and Teacher Rodrigo gets me there and stuff, or a Brazilian teacher, I think it would be a great show, and I do think that. These types of conversation and these types of lives I enjoy because I think it needs to be said. And then I really must thank Teacher Rodrigo, because he creates an environment for that. I appreciate any other lives, but sometimes I just like to keep it real, keep it within the family.
That's
And
right.
sometimes
Thank you.
people are not comfortable saying that because they go, "Ooh, yeah."
Yeah, no, that was crazy. Look at this, guys. You guys are enjoying the live. I know you guys are having a good time learning, having fun, getting inspired, getting motivated. Look at how crazy it is. This is the conversation we had today. I was just like, hey, Teacher Will, I want to go live with you. He was like, oh, really? Okay, tonight? I was,
Wait, 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 wait.
I was like,
Wait, wait,
hold
wait,
on,
wait.
man.
Wait, wait, Rodrigo. Wait, wait, wait. Go back, go back, go back. You go tell the story. Go back before that. Tell the story
Okay.
correctly before I'll let you have it.
Okay. So he's like, hey, Teacher Will, what's up, man? Yo, I want to go live with you because, I've been going live with a lot of teachers and stuff. It's like, okay, right now? Hold up, right now? It's like, no, not right now. I need to get ready for it. It's like,
Excuse me. Wait. I'm going to tell my recount of the story. I get a message from teacher. Hey, Teacher Will, you know what? I've been going live with a lot of people. When we going to go live? We'll be going live. That was his message.
that's
Brother,
right.
whenever you want to go live, brother, let me know when you're going to be going
That's
live.
right.
It don't matter to me. When you want to go live. You want to go live tonight? You want to go? It's your calendar. I'm down. I'm going to support you. Right?
That's right. That's right.
Thank you.
That's right. And that was me like, look, because usually what I do is like, okay, I'm gonna go live with Teacher Thais or Teacher Flavio. Okay, so let me just settle down, get everything set up, write questions and stuff. And Teacher Will is just like this, man, off the top, off the top. I was like, I don't have to prepare
I
anything.
think that's
just
part.
because.
No, and I think, brother, listen to me. Teacher, listen to me. There are certain. How do I say this? I just think that representation is important. There's certain length that, like, you make a phone call. It's like it is what it is, and like I said earlier, I enjoy doing stuff, and I can't do a live with everybody that asks me stuff and stuff, but I think what's important is I do when it comes to chocolate. I have a special place. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it is what it is. I mean, you know what I'm. And I think that's important. I mean, because again, I think that what I try, and I'm not always successful in this, but it's like, you know what? I think it's important that that I'm gonna say it. People of color become represented, and that's no disrespect to my other individuals out there. I think that we need voice. I think that there needs to be more voices like you and others, and people have a right to that. So if I can add in that, I believe in partnership. I believe in sponsoring. I believe in giving because people have given me a break. And I love, when I see you or other people like you, I love that. I love
That's
that.
great.
So if I'm able
That
to
is
do a live
great.
time, like,
It's great to hear.
but I would say, let me say this, because sometimes people so teachers listen to me. If I have time to do a live, it's fine. But the thing I ask that you do is, like, if you send me a DM message, like, get to know me first. Like, I'll try to do a live if I have a time. But let me be honest. Please don't send me, if you're a teacher, please don't send me a DM message and be like, oh, hi, will you promote my page? No, I don't know you. And that's called using me because you think that, oh, okay, like, I have X amount of people I'm respect. No, that's not, like, what I'm saying is, if you're going to do a live, whether it's me or Rodrigo, I can't speak for my brother there, but it's like, get to know a teacher first and their style and their content before you ask them live. Because
That's
what
right.
some people do is, real talk, some teachers be like, oh, well, can you promote my page? Why? Because I have 55,000 or 58,000 followers? Why? Because I'm American and you need a native to guarantee who you are? I'm sorry. Was that too honest? No. Get to know me. And I have a right to sit back and say no. I have a right to sit back and say no.
That's crazy, right? Look at this.
Well,
By the
brother,
way,
you and I both know. Brother, am I lying that it doesn't happen?
no,
I mean,
you're
maybe
not.
that's too honest.
Definitely not. Definitely not. Look at this.
Like, my thing
By the way,
is, anybody can do a live, but don't, like, I'm sorry, don't send me a message if I don't know you. Like, I've never heard from you. Oh, hi, Teacher Will, you want to do a live? Who are you from Moses? I have to see if I like your content. Are you good?
Teacher Will, I love it. I love it when you say that. It's just because I don't know if you've realized that, but actually you are the first. No, actually you're the second person that I go live with that has more followers than me. You're the second person. I've been following a lot of people, and I've gone live with a lot of people. And by the way, the third person that has more followers than me is teacher Cida Feitosa. She is right here.
I did a live with her. Yeah. I did a live with her.
Thank you so much, teacher Cida, for being here.
But, okay, Rodrigo, I'm gonna get thrown off the phone again. Okay, I'm sorry.
All right. Let me just finish this one, because hold it, boy. Because look at this. I have gone live with, I think, if I'm not mistaken, 9 teachers or students so far, just during this quarantine. Which means over, like, for example, today, we've been talking for almost 2 hours. I talked to Mr. Teacher Paula for 3 hours. I've talked to Flavia for 2 hours. I've talked to Teacher Carol for 1 hour. Teacher Thais for 1 hour. So I've talked to a lot of people. Because I like the way they teach, I like the content. I'm not, I'm not a follower digger. The gold digger. I'm not a follower digger. Oh, I need some more followers. Of course, I do want to have more people, checking my work, because I believe that what I do is helpful for a lot of people.
Right.
So if there are more people following, there are more people that can change their lives through English.
Exactly, and
that's different.
Okay. But that's okay. So Rodrigo, first thing, teacher, first thing.
All right, come on, dog. Let me finish it.
Go ahead,
so
dog. I thought you were done. Done. Sorry, go ahead.
Tomorrow, I'm gonna go live again. It's Saturday. I'm gonna go live with a guy that has fewer followers than I do. On Sunday, it's Mother's Day. I'm gonna go live with a guy that has way fewer followers than me, but I like their work. You know what I mean? I like what they do. So it's not that, oh my God, okay, so let me check. Oh, teacher Cida Feitosa, oh my God, she has a lot of followers. Let me go contact her. It's not about that. It's about that.
That's for you.
Teacher Feitosa, Cida, she's been doing a great job. I see her online. I mean, it's something that's I watched that. I checked that out. It's not something like, okay, she has a lot of followers. Let me go there. Oh, Teacher Will, he has a lot of followers. Let me go there. There are people that are just go like this. Oh my God, this guy has a lot of followers. Oh shit, no.
Right. I just Rodrigo, right. But Rodrigo, a couple things. Number one, like knows like, right? Teacher Prejudice, I've done a live with her. We haven't done a live. Happy New Year. If you want to do a live, let me know. So I've done lives with other people, but here's the thing. Like, I need to say this. For those teachers, listen. If you want to do a live with me, you can send me a DM message. We'll figure out if there's a vibe or there's things of that nature. That's number one, because I like doing that. I've done lives with people that zero whatever. I look at the content, get a good vibe or whatever like that. That's one thing. Number two, just because teachers, I don't follow you doesn't mean that I don't watch your comments or make comments on your videos. If a teacher gets offended about the fact that you follow me and I don't follow you, if you feel uncomfortable about that, you can unfollow me. That's not being rude. That's being honest. I don't have bandwidth in terms of the fact that, like, I give anybody credit that has like 1,000 followers, whatever like that. So just because I don't follow a teacher does not mean that I don't value your content. And so I look at intent of people, right? So special shout out, teachers from Brazil want to do a live with me, and then hey, send me and let's see. I'm from the United States of America, and I'm American. And I live in Jeddah, and that's a little about me. I'm from America. But that's the thing. It's like teachers, like if you want to do a live, it's kind of like build a relationship. That's not win-win. And that happens in certain parts of the world more than others. I'm like, and it happens. Oh, I want to do a live with Rodrigo because it's like, yo, he's known in the industry, and yo, he's EB Dog. Or I want to do a live with Teacher Will because, and I'm sorry, this is too honest, but it's my sense of honesty. Excuse me, I've been in this game long enough. Some of y'all that are native or non-native, don't contact me because you think that you like me, and then what happened is you're going to use me. Yeah, I remember, teacher. We did 3 live. We got 2. We'll do a 3rd. You want me to do a live on your page, teacher? Let me know. I'm good. But anyway, my thing is, I'm like, listen, don't play the native card with me. What do I mean by that? Some of y'all, whether you're native or non-native, will use the American and use the teacher will. Oh, look, teacher will's following me, so they're no, I'm not going to do a live with you. Because it's not real, it's not authentic, it's not intent. Stop using people based on their numbers or their ethnicity or their race to get you where you want to be, and that's not real. I will not do a live with you. Ask me how I know that happened.
I'll tell you something that happened. Look at this, man. I got this guy following me for a long time. It's just like, man, I like what you do and stuff, and this was the next level of the conversation. He said, what part of America you're from? So I'm not from the United States. I'm from Brazil. It was like, oh, okay, my bad. I thought you were from the United States.
And stop discriminating against people. I'm sorry. And stop discriminating. He didn't do a live, right? He didn't want to do a live.
And then he was just like, okay. And then the guy disappeared.
Stop learners, some of y'all need to stop discriminating against people because they ain't, and it's done the other way. Some of y'all need to stop discriminating and being prejudiced against others because they ain't alive, right? Because they ain't American, because they ain't native. It happens. I get that it happens, but I'm like, when I first saw Rodrigo, I looked at his content. I sent him a message. Hey, what's up? I didn't say, hey, dog. That was not true. I didn't know you. I was like, hey, teacher Rodrigo, what's going on? And we built a relationship. But some of y'all, it's reverse racism. It's racism and reverse racism. Oh, we want to do a live with Teacher Will because he's American. He's got like 50,000 followers. And if I do it on this page, it's like, oh, yeah. I got a native. And then some of y'all do reverse racism. Oh, I don't want to do a live with Teacher Rodrigo because I thought he was American, but he's Brazilian. And yes, racism exists in the ESL industry. Drop the mic.
All right,
oh my God.
Look at this. By the way, since you're talking about racism and all that, I mean,
what is that?
How many?
What is that?
Does that
racism, Rodrigo? No, come on, no.
All right,
no.
The question is, I mean, no, real talk, man. Well, oh my God, you make me happy. Really, you have that power. Believe it.
I'm sorry. What was your question?
All right, my question is, how many black teachers have you seen out there? You know, I mean, whenever you get trained to become a professional teacher, for you to get your qualifications, for you to become a certified teacher ready to go there and teach. How many black teachers have you had?
I think there are. Okay, so that's a really good question. So I think that everybody's of color, but specifically in terms of those of African descent, I would sit back and say that there are more. I see more women in the profession than us brothers or the males.
That's right.
I would definitely say that. But I remember, at least in my own training at home, I think I was the only chocolate chip and vanilla. I think I was the only person in my, and so I'm used to that. And I think that that's fine. That's, let me say it like this. Different isms exist in the world. And I've been the recipient of that. That's not right. That ain't wrong. It is what it is. And so isms exist in every country. What I use, I think, based on the experience that I've had to come from, it's kind of like I've had to, in my humble opinion, it's not right or wrong. I think of my own experience, I've had to work harder than other people. That's not right or wrong. And everybody faces certain challenges. And I think that I've used that as a opportunity for me to grow. But I understand there's certain reality. I mean, I have sat in my life and said, I wonder if I looked a different way, would I have more people or would I be, quote unquote, more respected? I have thought that. I'm not going to lie to that. I think that isms, racism, sexism, racism, sexism, classism, ageism, I think it's built in the DNA of most cultures. And so, yeah, you know what? I give credit to my credit, and specifically, I'm giving credit to my sisters of African American descent, I think that they have their own particular barriers that we do. But I don't see a lot of us. To be honest, Rodrigo, I don't see a
It's
lot of
difficult,
us.
right? I mean, here in Brazil,
You know,
I don't know if you know, Brazil is, the majority of people in Brazil is black.
yeah, I know that.
Oh yeah, yeah. Usually, when I go to teacher trainings in general, I'm the only chocolate chip right there.
True.
And
I mean,
this is
yeah.
something that has bothered me for a long time because I think that it shouldn't be like that. And one of the things is that the conversation I was having with teacher Carol Romano Education yesterday is the fact that in my country, black people don't believe that English is for them. They think that this is for the white, high class, rich kids, and it's not for the black people. You know what I mean? So then, and then I was telling her that I have used, I don't know if I told you that, but I have used English to protect myself from prejudice, from preconceived notion on the black.
No.
I didn't tell you that? Okay, so.
No. Okay. Real talk.
All right,
Okay, I didn't know
I
that.
said it yesterday, but I'm going to repeat it today. Look at this. I used to teach at the university here. That's the Federal University of Minas Gerais, UFMG. That's where I used to be a teacher, and an English project in there. By the way, my ex-coordinator is here, teacher Máquina de Ideias, Flávio. And, I used to teach there, and I didn't have a car at that time, so I had to walk a couple blocks to go to my bus stop to get my bus to go home. So every time when I get to the bus stop, I see that everybody is, hiding their purses, or, if the backpack is on the back, they put the backpack up front. If they're talking on the phone, they stop talking on the phone and just, hide their cell phones and stuff like that. If they're listening to music, they stop listening to music because they need to pay attention to what's going on. Just things like that. So I've seen that happening a couple of times. I showed my white friends. My white friends would just look at me and say, come on, man, really? That happens like that? Just, man, just go with me, and then you're going to see it. So some of them have started to have that experience, and they started to get angry too. They're like, oh, come on, man. They don't even know you. How come they do that? Yeah, I know. This is what I have to face every single day. And then one thing that I've realized is that English would be status, and that would take me from being a victim of racism to where racism doesn't really affect me anymore, just by speaking English. So this is what I would do at the bus stop. So at the bus stop, I was here, and then when something happened at the bus stop, it's just like I see this girl that she looks a little scared, or I don't know. I mean, she's not very comfortable because I'm there. And then I would just get my phone, and then that's what I would do. Hello? Hey, teacher Will, how are you? No, I'm doing great. Actually, I've just finished the class. I'm on my way home right now. Yeah. Oh, do you have anything to do? No? You want to grab something to eat? Yeah, I'm hungry too. So look at this. I'm going to take my bus right now. Then I'm going to go home. Whenever I get there, I'm going to take a shower. And then I go to your house and pick you up, right? People will look at me like, oh, he speaks English. He's not a thug. Okay, I can listen to my music again. He's not going to rob me. Because,
Interesting.
So this is something that I have done for a long time. And believe it or not, I still do. So,
Rodrigo, let me say this. Thank you for sharing that. And I want to address something that one of the callers said right there. I think what happened, let me say it like this. For me, I think there is a relationship. Let me say it like this. I've told this story before on live Instagrams. When I was in 1990, I met Angela Davis, civil rights unit activist person.
Oh, by the way, hold on. I just saw that we have only 50 seconds.
Okay.
You want to save this? You want to save this for another day so we continue this conversation?
Can you go 10 minutes and we'll finish it? Save this and come back on because I don't want to lose
All
it.
right,
Save this and then come
sounds
back
good.
on.
I'm gonna save this
Okay, bye.
one, and I'm coming
Okay, and then
back.
come back on. Okay, got it.
All right, cool. And here we go, back again, over 2 hours of live, because I'm talking to Teacher Will. And talking to Teacher Will, look at this. Teacher Will, I'm sure that whenever we have a chance to sit down face to face to talk, we're going to talk for a long time. I mean, because we never stop. All right, man. All right, let's. There you go. People are coming in.
All right. So let's
There
go
you go.
20 minutes and then we're going to go with this. But before the thing, one of the learners previously said on the previous call, they were talking about Brazil. So I can't speak about that. But one of the previous learners was saying that they thought the situation in Brazil was more of an issue of class than race. I'm going to share, this is just my particular opinion on this. In 1990, I met Angela Davis when I was in college. She said, what would you do if you were a black woman, Jewish, lesbian, handicapped person? And I never thought about that before. And her synopsis was that there's a relationship between race, class, sex, orientation, class. So my perspective is this. Again, I can't speak about Brazil. I do think that there is an intersection, that class and race and all of those things play a part. So, for example, let's say, for example, that Teacher Rodrigo is rich and I'm rich. We're both rich, so we're in the same class level. But Teacher Rodrigo might be a light Brazilian or a black Brazilian, a white Brazilian, and I might be a black Brazilian, right? That's where race happens. And I think that what happens sometimes because of those relationships or their interrelatedness of things, that people feel uncomfortable talking about race or class or sex or gender orientation or whatever of that nature. Again, at least from my opinion in America, I can't talk about Brazil. I'm talking about America. And so sometimes I think what becomes important is that when people listen to those stories, so for example, in the United States of America, let's say, for example, if I live in Willand, I could have a white individual, I could have a black individual. We could be in the same class economically. We both could be poor. What has happened historically is been like, you know what, well, you're black and I'm white. So I think what happens is that, at least in my experience, in terms of my culture, it exists. So I don't want to talk about Brazil because I don't know, but I think the greater point is this, something, Rodrigo, teacher, that you were saying is the following. I think class does play a part on the educational aspect. And historically speaking, is those that are at the lower socioeconomic level happen to be of a particular hue or a particular race or a particular ethnicity. And I'm only talking about from the United States. I don't want to talk about your country. But I think that happens worldwide. And I think that that is the intersection between race and class that people don't want to talk about. Because I've said this before one time, or I thought about this. You know, if you look at the word black, right, in the dictionary, it doesn't necessarily have the glowing list of terms, and it's been used in terms of like many different things. But if you look in the world, ladies and gentlemen, and you look historically, and you look at those that are a social economic level, they typically happen to be a particular hue. Just like there was, and this is a history major, so I'm a history major as well, y'all. Just like you had slavery in America, you had slavery in Brazil. You had slavery in the Arab world. You had slavery in Asia. You had slavery in Britain, right? So the point is this. You must ask yourself the question, if you want to, why is it, many different factors, okay? Why is it that typically people that are rich, I'm not knocking people being rich, but why is it that typically that are rich, they have a certain class, they come from a certain racial ethnic identity? In the United States of America, we had a class differentiation. The lighter you are, that's the vestige of slavery, and that system still exists. So when people say, I think sometimes people feel uncomfortable saying that because they don't want to be called racist. I'm not calling anybody a racist. I'm saying there's a historical legacy around that. The last point is this: for me, as an African American male, I recognize that I have been the recipient of prejudice. I have been the recipient of racism. I do think it's important that, at least in my own life, is that anybody could be an individual racist. There's a difference between prejudice and racist, right? You could, like, for example, let's say I'm an individual racist. I don't like the fact that teacher Rodrigo is Brazilian, so I could be an individual racist. The only difference between individual racism and institutional is things that have happened in the legal system and government. But at the end of the day, I really need to say this, because this sometimes, I just need to say this. Me, Teacher Will, as an African American male, I do not use my race as a crutch. And I would appreciate it if those outside of my experience would not tell me what to think or how to feel or how I should feel when you have not walked in my shoes.
True.
That is not empathetic. It would be the same if I am a woman or from a different culture or from a different background, and you're going to tell somebody else that you have to walk. Don't tell me that to me. So I don't use racism as a crutch. I recognize that I exist, but I'm recognize and realize, you know what, there are certain things that I might say or Rodrigo might say that is not palatable or is not accepted if somebody else that didn't look like Rodrigo and I could say it, it would be accepted more. That's not right. That's not wrong. It's reality. And ask me how I know, because there have been teachers that have said the same exact thing that I have said, and it's more palatable and more accepted because they don't look like this. But that's a reality. I don't get mad at that. But I think those are the conversations that impact on learning. It even impacts on our learning, and it goes to your point, Rodrigo. Whoa, why does somebody want a native versus non-native? Why does somebody, when they think, like, you know, whether it's black or Arab or whatever like that, we don't think that we're worthy? Why? Because those are the vestiges of English. When people think standard English, reality check, still in this day, they are thinking that it should be a certain way, a particular color, right? And I have nothing against white people because I have white in my blood, all right? I'm African, of African descent, Native American descent, and European descent. But that's reality. So I don't use race as my crutch, but I am who I am. We do not leave our culture at the door. And I think if we're going to be human, it is the ability to have those conversations that are sometimes difficult. But I don't like it when, like, at the end of the day, if Teacher Rodrigo is a black Brazilian, if he identifies himself that way or whatever, I don't like it when somebody else, like, Teacher Rodrigo's black Brazilian, I'm gonna tell Teacher Rodrigo, oh wait, you're black Brazilian, there's no racism. Why do you feel that way? I have no right to do that. Just like I would have no right to tell you what their experience is.
That's right. Yeah, I like that. You know, some of the experiences that only black kid has. Just like my father, he used to say that to me. It's just like, you know, you're born brown, and which means that some of the privilege that people have in the world, you won't have it. So be ready for it. So my father he actually grew up that way, and he brought me up that way as well. He just said that, all right, everybody wants to be good. You have to be great, because good that looks like you are not the ones that are chosen. So you cannot be good. Good is for people that have that privilege already. Since you don't have it, you have to be great. They are only going to choose you if you are great. Do you understand that, boy? So, yeah.
Oh yeah,
so
But see, I think right, and I think Rodrigo, what's so interesting is that I think that is universal within the pandemic, and that does not necessarily apply to. I mean, that could apply to, and learners. Let me say, I'm not going to say that could not apply to however you define yourself, right? But I'm saying, like, from two African brothers from another, one's a Brazilian, one's American. That's what happens. I was always raised like this, and I think I need to say this. Like, I was always raised, it was like, listen, my father raised me and was kind of like, listen, boy, you can do anything that you want to do because God created you, but recognize and realize that you're going to have to work harder than other people. That ain't right. That ain't wrong. It is what it is. And so, again, learners, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, and then later I've experienced this myself. in English schools, like here in my city. You know, my state is a very conservative state, so this racism issue is still a big deal here, and you know, it's just like, man, that's crazy. I've got
Right. I
certain.
mean, well, that's the thing, but you can't hide. But see, that's the thing, Rocket. Right. And again, I'm not dismissing anyone's. I'm not saying somebody that's biracial. So be clear, learners, because I don't want you like be clear. I'm not saying that you don't experience racism or discrimination because you're Latino or you're Arab or you're Chinese or you're Latino or because you're a Buddhist or a Sikh or whatever of that nature. I'm not saying that. Okay, we're talking about there's a difference between religious discrimination and racial discrimination, right? The first thing that you see about Rodrigo is this or that, and that's built up on prejudice or whatever of that nature, right? That's not right, it's not wrong. So I'm not discrediting anybody. We're talking about something that is unique. That's why I say that, hey, it goes back to something you were saying before, Rodrigo, that representation becomes important. Number two is this. One of the things, learners, is the following. There were, and maybe this is me, there were certain videos that I've been asked to make, and I've never said this on a live Instagram. There are certain videos that I've been asked to make that I know if I acted what the stereotype is when it comes to black male, oh, I know I'd have a hot, but there were those certain videos that I don't make because why? I don't want to be born into the stereotype. So my thing is, I'm like, everybody's experience is unique. And I just hope that that's the part of English and being a human where you talk about it. But the reality is, my reality, just like it's somebody value, I think that would apply to women or somebody of a different belief system or whatever like that. It exists, and for us not to say it, it's fine. It doesn't happen. There are many different reasons you do not see Latino teachers or black teachers or whatever like that. Why? Because they didn't have the resources to do it. Or they didn't have the resources, the education levels, the opportunities. And that's not a crutch, that's a thing. I was just raised, I'm like, you know what? I've had to work harder than others. That's not right, that's not wrong. I will expect that until the day that I die. Until the day that I die.
You know, things that I've heard a couple times. Look at this. My sister is an electrical engineer. She is a sister. And she was the only sister in her classroom. And,
oh, yeah.
And one thing that I heard, look at this. So we were talking about racism in here, but she has suffered with sexism as well. And, you know, something that it doesn't affect me.
Right, we can't relate. Yeah.
Yeah,
right.
Just because, you know, it doesn't really affect me. But for my sister, look at what happened. One time we had to introduce ourselves and talk about our professions. And she said, well, my name is Fernanda, that's her name, and I'm an electrical engineer. Say, well, my name is Rodrigo, and I'm an English teacher. And the comment I got was like, oh, you guys took each other's jobs, right?
Right. You know what? And you know what, Rodrigo, I would
here comes the bullshit again. That was me. Here comes
right,
the bullshit again.
Rodrigo, you know what though? But I think, you know what, it's interesting because I shared this with you. When I first started social media, and I think maybe that's one of the reasons we connected. You were on before I was. But when I got on social media, like, my thing is this. One of the reasons why I got on was because, let's keep it 100, bro. There's not a lot of brothers in our industry for various reasons. That's not right. That's not wrong. It's what it is. And when I got on, I didn't see a lot of people look like us. And one of the things that I learned is I'm like, listen, you could be a follower of ATW, you could be everybody, anybody you want, and I don't discriminate. English doesn't discriminate, even though some people might want to discriminate against us for various different reasons. But with that being said, I didn't, for me is that, maybe the reason why representation is important is maybe if somebody thinks or believes that they have the same thing, like, that would give me the greatest joy. Like, okay, well, somebody that represents me or whatever like that, or looks like me, or that is part of my culture, whatever, then that's fine. But, let's keep it 100, because you've been in the game longer than I am. Sometimes when you're the pioneers, it's tough and it's hard. And let's say on the other reverse, too, if we keep it honest, sometimes, and this relates to English language learning, but you're going to understand what I mean. Sometimes our own will tear us down with the crab in the barrel mentality.
That's right.
What do I mean by that? Well, you have two, and this is what I give you. You got like two Brazilians, right? Two Brazilians don't want to work together because what, a Brazilian, you're gonna take my followers. Or even yet, how does that tearing each other down? Oh no, in the language community, you have learners that are learning. Oh no, I don't want to. You know, I haven't done with that. So for me, yeah, if you're, you know, I'll do a live with anybody, but if you're, you know, if we came from the same lineage, is fine. Because I don't want to be in that. I don't want to be like that. I don't want to be like a crab in a barrel.
That's right.
Because we have certain obstacles. That's the word. We have unique obstacles and challenges that are different. Doesn't make it right. We have unique obstacles or challenges. So it's kind of like if I'm able to help my brother, but again, win-win. But again, everybody don't believe in that because you and I both know. You say to some Brazilians, you say to, and I'm sure whatever, I'm not discluding anybody, right? But we just talking you and I. You say to some of us, well, wait a minute, I made it by myself, you make it by myself, and it's jealousy.
That's right.
That's 100. But that has nothing to do with them. That has nothing to do with us. I follow Rodrigo. I like Rodrigo. I don't give a damn if he has 7,000 followers, 70,000 followers. I want him to have 10,000 followers because I respect the man. But I'm not jealous of him. But because of internal racism and because of culture, because there are certain cultures where it's like, you know what? Let's keep it 100. You will tear each other down and not support each other because that's part of your culture. And that impacts learning.
That's right. Oh my God, this is
Rodrigo.
Teacher Will. Thank you so much, man, for being
You're welcome
here.
so much.
Thank you for this
You're
conversation.
welcome.
I'm sure, I mean, people here, it's just like they're enjoying this. You know, my friend Marisa from Brazil too, she's a teacher. She's amazing. She just said, well, this life should not be saved only for 24 hours. This should be saved forever. And I totally
Well,
agree
if
with
you
that.
want Rodrigo, Teacher Rodrigo, is if you want to save it, if you got IG Chrome, you can download it on your laptop or computer and save it forever. But here's the thing, learners, if you want it, like, right, here's the dealio. Teacher Rodrigo, do you have IG Chrome?
No, I don't.
Okay, here's the thing. Okay, listen, y'all, because he hosted a lot. Teacher Rodrigo, here's the dealio. This is what I want you to do if you can. Go to Google, download Instagram Chrome Story. When you download Instagram Chrome Story, then what you can do is that you can go on your Instagram on your laptop or your computer. You click on the story, and then you're able to download the video or things of that nature, right?
Oh,
So
that's
if
cool.
you want, yeah, I'll send you a DM message about it later. So what you do is you can save it. But here's the dealio, learners. Listen, ATW followers, I need your help. Will you help me? If you want this video to be saved, then I would ask, I need 10 members from the ATW, forget the 10, I need 20 members from the ATW family to go and, hold on a minute. Give me 1 second, brother.
All right, man.
Because, see, my thing is, I'm sorry, learners, I just have to be honest with something, okay? Because sometimes y'all want a lot, y'all want something, but what I've learned is the following. Y'all want, then you know what? We have to go. Now, Teacher Rodrigo, you have right now 7,597 followers, okay? So here's a question for you, if you're going to do it. Oh my God, William, really? Where's your calculator, you stupid fool? 7.5. I talked to myself. 7,597 plus 25. Okay. Teacher Rodrigo, learners, what I'm doing is this. I'm asking anybody, any of your friends or family, Teacher Rodrigo, I like to negotiate. Life is negotiations. All right? If we get, right now you're at 7,597. If we get you an additional 25 followers, we'll get you to 7,622. Because I saw the live that you did a long time ago and your post one time ago that you wanted 10,000. If I can offer my support, fine. But here's what I would like to negotiate with you. If you get 25 new learners within 48 hours, will you download IG Chrome Story, save this live, and post it somewhere on your social media? Will you agree to that?
Definitely.
So, learners, here's the dealio. Teacher Rodrigo has made a promise, and I'm asking for your support. If you want this live to be saved, Teacher Rodrigo has agreed that you are now going to get him from, he's at 7,597 followers. If we get him, we're asking for 25 followers. So that would push him up to 7,622. Because learners, here's my thing. And this might be a little rude, but I'm being honest. You ask for a lot, and my thing is this. I'm asking for your help, and I need your support. Sometimes what you learners do is that what you do is you ask. But I'm going to believe in the spirit of you and I, we learn together. You actions speak louder than words. So Teacher Rodrigo has agreed that if he hits, Teacher Rodrigo, do me a favor, pin this number. Rodrigo, because you have the live, pin this number.
Look at what my brother just said, that we're having a negotiation.
Okay? 7622. 7622. And pin that number.
Okay. There you go.
All right? So, if we get him, now, listen, y'all, because I'm out of negotiation. Teacher Rodrigo has agreed that if we get him to 7622, he has agreed to save this live Instagram. He will download Instagram IG story. He goes on Google, he downloads it, and he'll save the story. But that's the deal, because you know what? I'm asking for your help to support. Now, if he don't do it, then it's on him, because that's between him and his creator. But at least he agreed to it. And I know him as a man of my word.
I'll take the responsibility.
And if he don't do it, then you know what? I will send him personally I'll send him a WhatsApp message and be like, really? I'll let him have it.
Serious?
But I'm not in control of that.
You embarrassed me.
No. You did You did not embarrass me, brother. You embarrassed yourself. Don't throw that lie out on me. You embarrassed yourself. You embarrass yourself, because I'll be like, listen, I tried to, you know how we go off the live, we keep it 100. I'll be like, really? I'll be like, really? You, what? So that's the deal. You have 48 hours. That's 2 days. And Rodrigo, if you hit it, not if, when you hit it, then you let them know. And right now, you're at 7.5, you just gained 2 new followers. You were at 7.597, you're at 7.599.
All right, it sounds like a plan. So what I'm going to do is whenever I hit that number, I'm going to download the lives, and I'm going
No. Stop. You got to download. Let's be positive. When you hit the number, here's what you need to do.
All right.
When the live is saved tonight, you got to do it tonight, because lives are only available for 24 hours.
All right, sounds
so you got to go on Instagram, go on Google, type in Instagram Chrome story, then you can download it to your laptop or whatever like that. Okay. When the lives are saved, save it. Okay, so that way you have it. And then the learners have 48 hours.
All right, sounds good. All right, so then what I'm going to do is I'm going to upload it to my YouTube channel so everybody can watch that 24 hours. Sounds like a plan? All right, cool. So if you guys don't follow my YouTube channel, it's English Black Friday. Just go there and
You're at 7600. We need 20 more learners, 22 more people, and then we got it. So make him do it. You know what? Make him be a man of his word. That's the thing. Make him be a man of his word. He was at 7.5 whatever. Now he's at 7,600. Y'all got 48 hours to get him to 22. And if he don't post it, I will personally, I'll deal with his behind. But no, Teacher Rodrigo, make sure you go, make sure that you download.
Just like, I don't want to deal with Teacher Will.
No, but seriously, make sure you download it on Instagram. Download Instagram Chrome story today. Make sure you save all 3 lives, and that way you'll post it on your YouTube channel. But let me say this, because I got 10.
Can you send me a DM with the names?
Yeah. You want a DM or WhatsApp message? You want a DM or WhatsApp? All right, I'll do a WhatsApp. Got it. But let me say this, because my battery's down to 14%. Brother, let me say this. I value you. I respect you. Thank you for giving me the opportunity on your page. You know that if you have my support, if you need me, call me. If I'm available, fine. To my brothers and sister teachers out in Brazil, if you're interested on me doing a live on your page, ladies and brothers and sisters, this is a special shout out for Brazilian teachers. If you're interested and you want me to do a live on your page, send me a DM, and I will try to make it happen, because I believe in support. And special shout out and special love to but this is only for Brazilian teachers, all right? Because I have a special place. I've done lives with others, but that's my thing. So, Rodrigo, brother, I respect you. I value you. My thoughts and prayers are with you. You're now at 7601. You need 20 more. So you better download the IG Growth Story today, and I'll give you the WhatsApp.
That sounds good. That sounds good. I'm a man of my word. So, guys, thank you very much, Teacher Will, for accepting my invitation. Thank you very much for sharing so much knowledge with us here today. English Black followers, just go there. Follow my brother, Teacher Will. Ask Teacher Will, ATW family. Thank you so much for being here. EBF family, thank you so much for being here. I hope you guys have enjoyed this 2.5 hour live as much as I have. It's been great. So I see you guys there. I'm gonna do it right now. So I'm going to download.
Yeah, I'll send you as soon as. Yeah, give me like 5 minutes, and then I'll send you a WhatsApp message or whatever like that. And last thing, Rodrigo, listen. Special shout out goes to you. If you know of Brazilian teachers that you think that will want to do a live or that you respect, tell them to get, because you know how how you and I roll. So put a call out to the Brazilian teachers or whatever like that, because that's what I want to be of service to them and try to do my share if I can help. Because you know how I roll, you know my criteria and things of that nature, right? So thank you, and I love the fact. Thank you when you said family. So thank you, EB Dog family, for following. Thank you, ATWs, for staying up with me and dealing with me. And again, remember, at the end of the day, learners, everything that you need, he's at 7602. I love it. Everything that you need is inside of you. So believe in yourself. Believe in yourself and that you can do it. So, brother, I'll see you later.
All right, later. Thank What up, everybody? All right, so we are starting another live tonight. Adrian is in the house, and oh my God, I'm excited. My sister Anna Clara Tony Little Chapel is in the house. Mr. Third Teacher Natalie's in the house. What up, homie? What's up, man? Oh, let's just wait for people to come over so we can start our conversation. Inglês com Melissa's in the house. How are you, Melissa? Dilda's my brother back again. Here got Chris. Oh my God, you got people coming over. That's great. That's great. Guys, today we have a super special guest. Teacher Will, and he's already in the house. Hayane is here. We've got Danny. Says Daniela Aparecida. That's good. Vitor, my brother's in the house. Dez is in the house. Sup, fellow Mr. Chris is in the house. Is there another game today? Maybe you're going to have a game, and you have to wait. You're going to see it. It's amazing. It doesn't matter what I'm doing. Dog is live. I'm here. That's my brother right there. Leo Dutra, my brother, is right here too. Leo Dutra is here. Hey, Teacher Will is here. Yes, man. Teacher Will is in the house. Teacher Will is in the house. Wellington. Ana Pedroso again, thank you for coming back. This is good to have you here, guys. This is amazing, actually. Today we're going to have a great conversation with one of the most respected professionals that we have here on Instagram. By the way, he is a person that I personally admire. I personally talk to because he has taught me so much. And we share some ideas regarding language learning and language teaching, and I'm very happy. Oh, and by the way, guys, I want, whenever he comes in, I want you guys to give him a lot of love, a lot of hearts popping up, because this is 7:24 right now here in Belo Horizonte, Brazil, and it's 1:24 in the morning where he is. And he said that to me. So I'm gonna go live with you, man. It doesn't matter if it's midnight, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm gonna be there for you. So, all right. So I need you guys to welcome my brother, Teacher Will. Let's make it happen, guys. Let me. Oh my God. Hold on. Right here.
EB Dog.
Oh my goodness.
Teacher Rodrigo is in the house.
Man, thank you so much, man, for not going to bed yet.
Bro, listen. All right, so let me just say this. And I mean this from the bottom of my heart. Listen, it's like what I said on the DM message that we were talking to each other. You want me to do your live? First of all, I'm honored and thank you for inviting me. So let me get the formalities out of the way, and then we can keep it 100. First of all, thank you, Teacher Rodrigo EB Dog, for inviting me. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Teacher Will. I'm from America. I'm a native English speaker. That's nice. Some of y'all care more about that than I do. The point is that I speak English, which is a global international language, and the language is for you and for me. So with that being said, I've been in teaching now since 2011. I came from the business world. I teach face-to-face. I now teach online because of the corona epidemic. Hashtag stay home, hashtag stay safe, hashtag stay home for them. Prayers and thoughts go out to everyone. So that's the formality. To my brother Rodrigo, and I mean that with all due respect to my brother, we've known each other for a long time. And if it's 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, whatever like that, you want to do a live, I'm honored. And before we get into this, I really, really want to thank you for a couple things. Number one is that you inspire me. I love your videos. I love your content that you do. You inspire me, and oftentimes I don't share that with you because we're both busy individuals. But you inspire me to be a better version of myself, number one. And number two, I really want to thank you for being a representative. And what I mean by that is the following, is that, and I'm just talking from my heart, and this is no disrespect to anyone else out there. One of the beautiful things that I love about English is, again, like I said, it's a global international language, and everybody has a right to the language. But you are in the arena. And it is so important, as I say to the ATW family, it's so important, I believe, that if English is a global international language, that representation needs to be present, that people need to see themselves being part of the language. So I thank you for your representation. I thank you for being in the arena. And I thank you for being one in the number, because oftentimes when people think of teachers, they might not necessarily think of us. And so learners, whether you're calling from Brazil, whether you're calling from Saudi, whether you're calling from William Lamb, Timbuktu, or whatever it is, don't let anybody tell you that you cannot represent this language. This language is for you and for me. It does not necessarily mean that you might not have obstacles or barriers or impediments that other people might not have, because real talk is you will, or at least in my opinion. So thank you for your representation, and thank you for being in the number, because you are representing. There needs to be more people like you out there doing the thing. So thank you for that.
Oh my goodness, I have no words to reply to such a beautiful message like that.
I'll say thank you, because truth is true.
I'm the one to thank you here. I'm really honored to have you here at English Black Friday, because it's not every day that people like you accept my invitation to be here to go live with me to talk about such delicate topic for a lot of people. And well, the first thing that caught my eyes when I saw your videos was actually the way you approached the language and the way you represented me to your followers. Because the message that you deliver, the message that you convey to people, is exactly the message I've been trying to pass on to my students, which is, you can do it. Let's focus on communication. Let's focus on fluency. And I'm sure you're going to get to the point where you call yourself a fluent speaker. But first, you have to get rid of some of this myths around the language, this thoughts that hold you back. And when I started watching your videos, I was like, yes, I found a brother from another mother right there.
There it is. There it is.
That is representation right there.
I mean, listen. Hey, Vicky, how are you? And hey, TW family, if you're joining. So I think my approach to English is this. So from my perspective, the theme that I have, let me say it like this. When I first got on social media, I wanted to try to be of service. And what I mean by service is this. What I wanted to try to do is there's a promise that I made to the God of my understanding, because to be honest with you, I didn't want to be on social media at all. And I was encouraged by 4 former students that I call the core, and it was like, hey, Teacher Will, you really need to be on social media. I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm too old. Nobody wants to hear about what I'm about to say. This is for a younger generation, whatever. So I prayed about it and it was confirmed. And so my whole mission or passion is trying to be like, listen, one is to be of service, and because for me English is a global international language, what I feel is important is that you can learn the language. You can learn English in all situations, in all fabrics, in all frameworks, in all different situations. And I've tried to have my videos reflect that. I've had to have, and for me, what becomes powerful is that for me, I believe, and I have a couple themes that I've been doing since I've been on social media, but I believe in order to learn the language, you need to have a GPPP. You have to have a goal. You have to know what your goal is, what your goal, your aim, objective is. And for each of us, that's different. Then you have to plan, and plan means you got to take the roadmap, the direction, the steps. And planning English in terms of can be like many different ways, in terms of if you're going to do self-study, if you're going to go to a language school, if you're going to be like, follow and take a class with Teacher Rodrigo. You actually have to plan on doing something. And in that plan, you develop goals that are smart, both short-term and long-term. So that's the goal, that's the plan. The second P I say is pray. I pray. I'm a spiritual individual. For those that don't believe in prayer, it is what it is. Call it belief in yourself. But praying for me has helped me, because as a human being and as someone who also speaks another language, there were times I didn't want to study. I didn't want to practice. I got demotivated. I listened to negative tapes that were played in my mind, and that I listened to the naysayers and the doers, whatever, so I had to pray so that I could get in line. And then the last thing is you got to, and here's where I think a lot of learners are missing, you got to produce. Produce means what? The act of creating. Produce means you have to create something. Produce means that you actually have to do something with the language, all 4 language skills. So it's the GPPP, and so for me it's under this mindset of like motivation, inspiration through English. I think one of the biggest impediments or barriers or blockages that prevent people in terms of gaining fluency, and I know we'll talk about that later, is mindset.
Yes.
And your mindset. Anything that I've done in my life, whether I call it successful or not, it's mindset. What does mindset mean? It's perspective. It's points of view. It's what in addition, what I think about myself. And that's why language, though metaphorical in nature, can never express truly ideas and thoughts of people. That's the only thing we have, whether it's Portuguese, English, Arabic, French, whatever. So language conveys our thoughts and ideas. That's all English is. Any language, but we're talking about English. It is to be understood, to convey thoughts and ideas. And as a result of that, you have to change your mindset. There are so many people walking around here with a negative mindset. And how is that manifested? How is that shown? I can't. I won't. This person. So I think one of the biggest barriers that I try to do videos on is that, yes, motivation, inspiration through English. It might not be, and nor do I have this desire. I'm not a traditional teacher. I have no desire to be. That's not my motion. That's not my intent. That's not my vision. But how English can become alive for each person, because it's an individual journey. Mindset's part of it. And until, it's like that controls everything for me. That's why I did a video on YouTube, You Are What You Think. Because in my own life, and then from learners that I have, they speak in existence that they can't do anything. So hopefully people get the message from me. And I know some of my videos are difficult to understand or not what people think it should be. That's okay. It's okay, because teacher will ain't for everybody, or is not for everybody. But for those that hopefully, it's to recognize that open up the language, open up English in terms of what the possibilities can be, and whom it's delivered by.
That's right. Oh, I loved it. I mean, one thing that I like about it is that today I was talking to Christian from Kangaroo English.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like I was just talking to him, and I invited him for a live as well, and he said that he would be here, and I was very excited and pumped about it. I was like, yes, man, I can't believe Mr. Christian's gonna be
He's a
here.
good egg. He's a good egg. He's a good egg. He's a good egg, and I've done a couple of lives with him, and he did an insight video like you did. And by the way, learners, if you haven't seen the insight video on Teacher Rodrigo back in the day, you need to go to my YouTube channel. I did it because the brother was kind enough to do it. But I think Teacher Christian has a similar philosophy, and I respect him professionally because at least he's willing to talk about those subjects that are a little difficult. And I think at least he's trying to do his part. There are isms that exist in the industry, and I think what I appreciate about him is that everyone has a voice. Everyone has a right to be on social media.
Right. That's right.
Everyone has a right to give content, but if I'm going to stand in my truth as two men of African descent, while respecting the fact you're Brazilian, there are certain things that, let me say it like this. We are both men, so I have privilege, right? There's nothing the matter with privilege. So I think that we have a unique voice that sometimes if we say things, it is perceived as being argumentative, it is perceived as being angry. But yet, if an ally does it, that happens to be of a different hue, then it's received. It ain't right, it ain't wrong, that's what it is. And so I respect Teacher Christian in terms of stretching the barriers and the definition of what English should be, and more importantly, or in addition, to giving people necessarily that don't have a voice. I mean, one of the reasons why, for me, I like to do live Instagrams, and I don't do that with everyone, but I try, is because I never, hopefully, or my hope and prayer is, I never want to forget where I came from. And I never want to forget who helped me on the line. Because why? On social media, we all start at zero. All start at zero.
Everybody starts at zero. Yes, definitely.
And there were a lot of teachers out there that, in my opinion, do really good content. Now, I have certain barriers and parameters in terms I'll do a live with, but I've done lives with people that have 0 followers all the way up to 1 million followers. If I feel that their content is good, if I feel that they have the right intent, and intent's important. So for me, when you put out a call, particularly because we share a similar, I do that. Why? Because I never want to forget. But that's different, and that's a different philosophy, because you and I have been in this game long enough. Everybody, Vicky will get this. There's a concept, win-win. And everybody doesn't get that. And everybody doesn't understand that. But I would be nothing if it was not for people, the followers. I usually say to the followers, it ain't about me. It's really not about me. If I, it's about us. It's about we learn together. And so, that's why we'll do lives and stuff of that nature. But yeah.
Yeah, but what really got me thinking was the way that he was talking about the input hypothesis by Stephen Krashen. Because he says, I've just watched this video on YouTube. He says, I really condone this input hypothesis, which is, basically you're sitting idly by waiting for knowledge to come in because you're just receiving input. And this is exactly what I was talking to my student about today. I was just like, well, the problem with a lot of people is that they sit idly by waiting for things to happen. They're sitting on their ears waiting for things to happen, and this is not how the language is supposed to be learned.
Never.
You're not going to learn if you see idly by not doing anything. It's just like, well, let me just receive. Okay, Mr. Teacher will do the job. Okay, so I'm here sitting down. I mean, it's not going to happen. It's just like, well, you just said he's a good egg. He's a good egg. And then somebody just said that, hey, that's a great expression, good egg. I had never heard it before. So then he took notes And then one thing that you can do is you have to activate that vocabulary now. So that is going to be part of who you are as an individual.
That's it.
And now, next time you can say, well, I'm going to use that expression because you know, this is part of your vocabulary now, right? So what I usually propose to my students is exactly what teacher Christian was saying, which is do not just sit on your asses waiting for knowledge to come in. Just like you're a sponge, you're going to suck up on all this knowledge, and now you're full of knowledge. It's not going to happen if you don't activate it.
And your videos, and brother, your videos, I'm sorry, let me be professional. I'll juxtapose between brother and teacher Rodrigo. Teacher Rodrigo, so, and one of the things I like about your content is your video reflects that. I think people, let me make an I statement as someone who speaks a foreign language. It's kind of like, hey, wait a minute, learn. Well, there's a difference between learning a language, acquiring a language, being immersed in a language. They're all symbiotic relationship. But with that being said, if I want to be immersed in it, again, it requires action. And I do think that sometimes what learners forget is that just because I am a teacher-student, for me, my approach is there's a symbiotic relationship. My job as teacher Will is to give you opportunities, to guide, to motivate, to coach you, to help you, the learner, achieve your language goals. It's kind of like, and what I think sometimes students do is that they forget themselves in the process. They think that learning or being immersed in the language or acquiring the language is a one-way street. No, it's not. You know, recently I posted something or I said something on a live Instagram, speaking of kangaroo, it captured that, and some people got offended by that, and I'm like, okay, it's my opinion, I'm entitled to it.
Right,
I'm like, if there is, and I literally said that, if I as a teacher, or let me expand that, if you have a goal in life, learners, whether it's teaching, whether it's getting a degree, whether it's moving, whatever your goal, your desire, your dream is, let's say for English, if someone cares more about your English than you, if your teacher cares more about your English than you, there's a problem. There is a problem if teacher Rodrigo or teacher Will or any other teacher out there cares more about your language than you. And why do I say that? That might be offensive to somebody, but yet, learning life, because the way I teach, my approach is I'm like, yo, it's life. These are life issues, right? At the end of the day, you are an individual. You have a responsibility and accountability for you, not teacher Will, for you to acquire the language. And I do think sometimes, go ahead, I'm brother.
I'm just interrupting you real quick. You know what bothers me is the fact that I actually have to insist on having my students produce. It's like, come on, man, this is on you. I mean, why do I have to go and say, hey, do this, okay? I mean, hey, I want this by tomorrow, okay? Send me an audio, and then I'm going to send you a feedback. And people are like, teacher, do I really have to send an audio segment? Why do I have to insist on it so much? I mean, this is your learning process. I'm just here to help you, guide you, motivate you, take you there. And then I still have to insist on doing it. I mean, that bothers me. It
can be. Yeah, it can be. Yeah, I mean, I think that we as teachers, I think the thing is that we have many different tools at our disposal. I mean, one of the things that I do is like recently somebody came to me and said like, hey teacher, a perfect example, this is what happened. Recently somebody came to me and said, hey teacher Will, do you teach online? I'm like, yes. And they were like, what's the price? And literally I said, hold on a moment, with all due respect, I don't want you as a student. What I prefer is this. I'm like, yo, if you're going to spend resources, your coin, your dollar, my process is, I'm like, listen, let me have a 15, 20-minute Instagram video call with you to figure out if we're a match, to figure out if we're a process, to explain my process to you, and then I'll tell you my price. I'm not knocking anybody that's for price, but my thing is, learners, if you're going to invest, you owe it to yourself. If you're going to invest your dollars in Teacher Will for private tutoring, you owe it to yourself to get on a call to figure out if there is a match, because this is a partnership. And so it goes, so anybody who's interested in online teaching from me, I do it, but that's my process. Get in contact, I want to see, because you know what, you're spending dollars, you're spending coins. Let's see if there's a match. going to your point, brother, teacher Rodrigo, as it relates to in terms of, I think we as teachers set the tone, because one of the things that I do in class is that I let them know the first day of class, whether it's online with them or if it's like face-to-face before the corona, which I was doing, I write on the board, I'm like, one of the things, particularly if they're higher learners in the upper intermediate B1, C1, I will write them, our first conversations, I'm like, do I teach you? And they're like, yes, you teach me. Yes, you teach me.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Vicky, Ambassador
Yeah.
Will. I'm sorry. Okay. I'm sorry. Let me focus. Also, FYI, I'm a Goodwill ambassador. That's why she said Ambassador Will. But anyway.
Okay. Ambassador Will.
Yeah, no, about a year ago, I was honored enough to be a Goodwill ambassador with affiliation of a group. So maybe that's why my philosophy is like that. But with that being said, I have a I say to my students, I'm like, do I teach you? And they're like, oh, yeah, yeah. I'm like, wait a minute. My goal is, again, to coach, to motivate, to help you. Are you going to be accountable to yourself when we have that? So we as teachers, we set that tone. And yes, for me, to be honest, sometimes it's frustrating. Yes. But yet, I have learned, because when I first started in the profession, I took that personally, if I'm very honest with you. I'm like, why aren't they doing their homework? What am I doing wrong? Why aren't they target language? And so I had to adapt that way, and hopefully I've gotten better at it in terms of being like, for example, if somebody doesn't do their homework, if somebody doesn't send them a video, if I'm in if I'm in a structured class at my job, I'll be like, I'll ask them the question. Not why didn't you do your homework? I have asked that sometimes, but I think for me, I think the more important, do you feel as though you let yourself down? You let yourself down? I have been known, like when I did private tutoring, they have a 3-strike rule. I'm like, listen, sometimes things happen in life. You know what I mean? Particularly now when we're in this pandemic. Sometimes life happens. But I have a 3-strike rule. I'm very direct and honest with my students. I'm like, listen, maybe it's because I'm black or maybe it's because I'm American, whatever it is. I'm very direct. I'm like, listen, you have 3-strike rule. I'm like, this class is for you. You're paying me money to help you achieve. Obviously, certain things happen. If I give you a task and it happens once, no problem. It happens a second time, I'll give you an eye. The third time, class is canceled. Your money's non-refundable. It is what it is. Because I think it's important that people have to recognize that. It's important to make an investment in oneself, however they decide to do it. But I try to teach that. Make an investment in yourself. This is an investment. Any language, any skill that you're doing is an investment in yourself that relates to, last point and then I'll shut up, which relates to what you have pinned as it relates to fluency. Fluency, ladies and gentlemen, just to break it down in English, all right? Fluency is a lifelong process. Fluency is basically defined as the way that you're able to... Fluency is a lifelong process. And fluency can be defined as, yes, the ease and the flow of how to speak in English, and your vocabulary, your pronunciation, and grammar all makes that.
Let me just interrupt you for a second. I've got a couple
questions.
Problem. All right, first one is, so do you believe that you are a teacher for every kind of student?
That's a really good question. And the first thing that I would say was like this. See, brother, that's why I love you. What I would say is this. I'm a certified qualified TESOL instructor that had the methodology of teaching. And I'm able to adapt, but I recognize and realize that I might not be the right fit for that individual.
That's right. So I'm just asking you that, just because exactly what you said about evaluating if we are going to, fit each other in terms of me as a teacher, you as a student. Well, I work this way. I don't know if you learn that way, or I'm going to adapt myself to your learning style, and I'm going to learn about you. But one thing that I demand from my student is, look at this. I just want you to do what I tell you to in terms of homework, video watching, or hey, just do this grammar exercise because you need to practice this structure here. And then I have to deal with this, oh, I don't have time. I don't actually find this material here, so can you do this and that? And instead of actually going for the learning, they go for more excuses to not do what they are supposed to. You know what I mean? So that's the type of students. that's the type of students I personally don't like to have, because
I think that, yeah.
that always
Go ahead,
gives me
brother.
an extra job. That always gives me an extra headache. Actually, it's just like, man, really. I was just like, I have one student now. His name is Lourenço. He was my student 8 years ago at university here in Belo Horizonte, and he moved to New Zealand. He used to love the classes. He used to love the classes. I mean, he never missed a class, and it was a face-to-face class. Then he moved to New Zealand, and well, before that, I had taught his girlfriend, that then became his wife, and then his wife passed the TOEFL, and now
Yes.
she's in New Zealand with him. She's doing her master's in psychology. You know, successful people, because they really dedicate themselves to passing the test, and taking the exam and doing the exercises and everything. So then I was having classes with him today, and actually last week I had given him a homework piece, which is, well, what I want you to do is I want you to watch, because he's practicing his listening. So I was like, I want you to watch The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. You know the father scene when
Yes, yes.
yeah, Will's father go there and says, "Hey, I want you to take a trip with me." And then at the end, Will's father was like, "Oh, I have to put this trip on hold because something came up." So that was the scene. That was a 4-minute scene, and I told him, I was just like, "Look, what I want you to do is I want you to listen carefully, word by word if necessary, but I want you to write the closed caption of it. I want you to write the subtitle, everything that you understand. Don't go for any subtitles out there on the internet. You're going to make your own." First thing he said is that, "Do you really think I'm ready for that?" I said, "Well, I don't know. I don't know if you're ready for that. We're going to know about it next week. So you have 7 days to let me know if you're capable of doing that. And this is for you to know if you are capable of doing that." And he would go there. And today, he just delivered his homework. He turned that homework in, and I was so happy. I was so happy. And first thing he did was, "Teacher, I'm sending you the subtitles that I created. And I don't know if everything is correct, but, well, I'm very happy because it took me 3 hours to do it. 4-minute video. It took him 3 hours to do it." So for me, automatically, it's just like this. That's the type of student I like to have. Exactly the type of person I like to work with. This person, he knows where he wants to go. He knows the level that he wants to get. So he put his back into it. He was just like, well, I'm going to do it just because it's going to make myself happy if I can do it, and it's going to make my teacher happy if I can do it.
Right.
So then today, man, we were checking. Of course, he didn't get 100% of that, but he got at least 90%. And he was so happy. He was just like, there's one part in there that Will's father said, "I ain't got no time for no lecture." And he didn't know the expression "ain't got no time." So he says, I ain't got time for no lecture. And then he put something with a lot of question mark, "time for no lecture." So, and then I taught
But see,
him,
but see, Teacher Rodrigo, that's the thing, though. Excuse me, but that's the thing. He did it. You made me remind me of two things, because I think, we as teachers, we are many different things. I'm many different things to my teachers. Some are my students or my learners, right? Sometimes I'm a teacher. Sometimes I'm a friend. Sometimes a psychiatrist. Sometimes I'm a disciplinarian. And so I think one of the things is, regardless, is that ideally, because I don't think personally, in my own opinion, I have a preferred student, right? I've learned from, like, if I like those type of students that are like, they're gung-ho, they're dedicated, things of that nature. Those, to be honest with me, I love those students. But the students that I really enjoy, the ones that really make me feel a sense of, like, wow, you did it, is those students that are not engaged, that are not proactive. And then, what we've done is, or what I've done is, it's kind of like, I've thrown it back on them. It's kind of like, hey, listen, bro. It's like, listen, ma'am, listen, sir. you're paying, like if they're going to do private tutor, I'm like, listen, you're making an investment in yourself. Is it really feel as though that you really want to make sure waste your money, right? So those students that don't have that belief in themselves and then we work at it, I love those type of students because it's kind of like, you know what? Motivation for many people comes in different phases. And why do I think that is? Is because oftentimes what happens is because of a couple things. Number one, of the negative tapes that they play in their mind. Number one, many factors. The negativity that they play in their mind. Number two is that the bias or the way that they think they should learn English and the amount of fear that one has, that sometimes for some learners, they just forget that and it takes them a little bit. And you do a good job at this in your videos, and I've seen you do your classes, where it's kind of like they take that little extra Because I don't believe in this sounds strange, I don't like calling students lazy. I like to call it, because I don't believe that students are lazy. I think that they lack belief in themselves, and words are everything.
That's right. That's right.
Words are everything. Words are everything. And
I don't know if it happens to your students, but usually my students, they don't think that they can do it.
They don't believe. Yeah, they don't. Right. That's. Ooh. Okay. Very quickly. They don't believe that they're doing it, and I need to say something. I don't believe they believe that they can do it because they don't believe in themselves. Maybe they haven't had the proper training or things of that nature. But more importantly, they are comparing themselves to others, which is unrealistic. They are comparing themselves to others. That is unrealistic.
It's one of the things that I like to show my students is my old videos. I have videos on YouTube from 2008. When YouTube came out, I decided to be a YouTuber. I'm going to record some videos. And then I show the videos in English. And then my students go like, oh, teacher, but you didn't know how to use the past tenses, right? I said, no, I had no idea. I just spoke in the present, simple present. I didn't even know how to use the present continuous here. All I knew how to use was simple present. So I would say sentences in the simple present and use a time expression in the past. So I would say, I go to the mall yesterday. And my students were like, but teacher, how come you got to this level that you have now, that you can keep up, with everybody, you can talk to anybody from any parts of the world? I say, well, because there was a beginning, there is a middle, and I believe I'm still in the middle. And I know that the end will be when I die. I'm not going to stop. So for me, learning never gets to the end. You know what I mean?
My brother, like, you sealed it right there.
There's the middle.
Right there.
That's
right there.
That's the only two phases you have.
But here's the dealio, and I love that you say that, because recently I did a video. Y'all, if you didn't see my video on YouTube, I recommend, if you want, well, I don't recommend, you have an opportunity to check the video out on YouTube that I did on fluency versus proficiency. And Teacher Rodrigo, that's what you're saying. Fluency, as I aforementioned, fluency learners, I need you to understand this. I want you to think about whatever your native language is. Whatever your native language is, think about it. Did you learn how to be fluent in Portuguese or Chinese or Arabic?
That's right.
When you were born? No, you didn't. You learned how to gain fluency or have fluency in your native language from the time you were born until now, right? So if it relates to your English language, real talk, people, public service announcement, fluency is a lifelong process. And respectfully, for those of you that get bamboozled and for those of you that believe that you can learn English in 1 week, 30 days, 1 month, you're being bamboozled. You're being hoodwinked. What do I mean by that? You're lying. Someone's lying to you.
That's right.
They're lying to you if you think that you can be fluent in a language, in English, in 30 days, and then you will pay people an exorbitant amount of money. Learn English in 30 days, and some of you learners go out there and you're like, oh yeah, I'm going to be fluent. No, fluency is lifelong, right? It's like what Vicky just said. Knowledge ends. I'm sorry, what did she just write? Hold on, Vicky, what did you write? Yes, knowledge only ends when you end. So knowledge, the acquisition of English, it ends
Sure.
when you end. It ends when you take your last breath, and we're all going to die. I'm not being morbid, that's a real thing. That's fluency. The ease in which you speak, the right word that you want to know when to utilize. And by the way, learners, let me say this. You don't have to speak English fast to think that you're successful, particularly when you're learning the language.
Yes. All right. One thing is that I'm a really slow speaker, and it doesn't really matter. This is exactly
It
what I
does
tell my
not.
students. I was like, well,
It does
I
not.
don't have to speak. I don't have to speak fast to show that I'm fluent or not, because speaking fast is one thing. Speaking fluently is just, you know, let the words flow,
That
and
is
guess
the
what?
goal. A lot of
Simple
people think
like
out
that,
there,
right?
it's like, oh my goodness, you know what? In order for me to be fluent, I have to speak fast. No, it doesn't. Fluency, particularly, it's not your native language. It takes time, it takes effort. The goal, ladies and gentlemen, should be fluency. And under fluency is pronunciation, articulation, stress, confidence. So please, stop thinking for some of you, you have to take or speak English fast. No, you don't. But some of you get bamboozled, get hoodwinked.
You got bamboozled. I
English,
like that.
it's, well, it takes time, it takes effort. So fluency is lifelong, which differs from proficiency.
That's right. That's right.
Proficiency is, think of proficiency as skill, as talent. Proficiency in English is nothing more than the progress that you are making in English, all four language skills, over a period of time. That's why we say, what level are you? When somebody says, what level are you? That means what proficiency level you have. So,
Yes.
more information to come. If you want more details, go to my YouTube video. But at the end of the day, this. If you want to improve your fluency, improve your proficiency. If you want to improve your fluency, improve your consistency. If you want to improve your fluency, improve your courage. And last point, fluency, ladies and gentlemen, fluency. Because Teacher Rodrigo and I know this, and we have this conversation all the time, and I'm going to say something that might be a little disrespectful to some individuals. If you ask me a question about accent, I'm going to ignore you moving forward. If on a live Instagram, ladies and gentlemen, I decide to speak like this for the rest of the live Instagram.
That's right.
Like speaking like this for the rest of the live Instagram, do I sound natural? Do I sound authentic?
No, you
I
sound weird
like
as hell,
a
man.
fake,
Come on, bring
weird
Teacher Will
person.
back.
Let me say this very clearly, so there's no misunderstanding. If you have a desire to sound like a native, that's fine. That's aspirational. That is good. That is what you can aspire to do. But there is nothing in English, which is a global international language,
Right.
that indicates that you need to sound like Teacher Will or any other native English-speaking person. When I hear people say about accent, I don't know what that means, and I'm going to ignore it. Because in the United States of America, in which I'm a native, there are over 20 regional accents in the United States.
That's right.
So learners, family members, focus on fluency. And let me say it this way, better yet, why don't you focus on being something that you are and be real in who you are instead of trying to be something that you aren't by speaking like this. How many people do I might know? How many people do I know that try to sound like this and swearing that they're like, it doesn't matter.
And that's
accent
like
is your identity.
Little do they know.
It's who you are. You're all accents. If you have accents in your native language, you have it in English. But some of you are trying to be something you aren't, and you come across respectfully as fake, not real.
That's right. So,
So be who you are, embrace your accent because that is your identity. Rodrigo is on the phone. William is on the phone. Vicky's on the phone. Life is a gift, remember, on the phone, right? If he's from Brazil, I'm not expecting Teacher Rodrigo to speak English like a native. I'm expecting that he is understood. But I have to say this, and then I'm going to shut the hell up. Some of you are so busy trying to be something that you are not and being bamboozled by the self-oppression, I'm sorry, I'm going to say it, by self-inflicted nonsense, i.e. sin, i.e. colonialism, i.e. self-fear and doubt. Be unique when you speak the language. How you speak it, that is who you are. And when you have and I understand it because you have an environment, you have language schools, you have universities, and I dare say you have content providers on social media.
That's right. A lot of them, right?
That are saying, wow, now don't hate the player, hate the game. The only way that changes learners and family is when you embrace your fluency and your pronunciation and you be who you are. And that does not mean that I don't understand that there are discrimination in the world. I understand that. Been there, done that, I lived that. But be who you are.
I can tell. I can tell. Cause like, oh man, you said it. You said it. Everything that I've always.
That's why people don't follow me. That's why people don't follow me. That's why people get some time mad at me.
That's right.
Well, what are you telling me, Teacher Will? Like, I feel honored and I'm humbled by the fact when people say, like, oh, I like your accent. Now, I get where that goes because, again, for many, but what I would much prefer is that you say, William, I like your fluency. I like how you express your ideas.
Look at this, man.
I don't care about anybody's accent.
I don't know if it happens to you, but it's just like, because I'm not American, I'm Brazilian. I come from a country where English is not the language. Portuguese is my language. You know, I just borrowed English as my additional language so that I can communicate with a lot of people around the world. And
that's the goal.
It doesn't really make me, all right, it makes me happy when people go like this, oh, really, you're from Brazil? I thought you're from the United States. That means that I've worked on the pronunciation, on intonation.
Proficiency.
That's one thing.
You've worked on your proficiency. That's the thing, Rodrigo. You've worked on your proficiency.
What I really don't like it is when people go like this. I know they mean to compliment. I know that. But they just say, your accent is really good. And man, inside of me, it goes like, man, what the fuck is good accent?
Well, brother, you know, brother, listen, I mean, I get the question. Well, brother, okay.
I'm dying.
Brother, no, but that's again, and sometimes I understand where that comes from, but again, I think that learners, or at least what I do is that you know, words are important. I understand where that comes from, right? It's kind of like sometimes a backhanded slap compliment. Like people might say to you, it's like, oh, Teacher Rodrigo, you know what, your accent is really good, right? My thing is that, or I get the thing is, it's like, okay, you know what, you don't sound black, and I'm like, or I've received, your English is very, oh wow, your English is very articulate. You know, listen, at the end of the day, language is a tool, English is a tool of communication. So I get where that comes from, but let's be aware. What is your learners, family members, what is your priority for learning the language? Are you embracing the fact that, hey, this is who you are? And it is the uniqueness, it's the accent that makes it. I just find, and I don't think a lot of times people have thought about that, and so that's one of the reasons why I expose that. And then people think that, you know, Teacher Will, oh, he's angry or this. No, I'm not. And what's so odd about that is this. I don't throw native up in people's face.
That's crazy.
Like
Teacher Will, that takes a lot of people. I mean, it takes a lot of time for people to understand the difference between anger and passion when you talk about topics that.
Well, I do think depending on.
Yeah.
Watch this.
Okay.
I do think. Well, let me say it like this. I do think that one of the things is the following. I think that one of the beautiful things, and it relates to the world, people are able to express themselves, and people all throughout the world express themselves in different ways. And so one of the things is that, you know, I express myself in different way. I'm a very passionate person. And sometimes I have calm passion in others. And if people are not used to our particular way of communication, they find it to be, oh, Teacher Will is angry. No, I'm not. Now, maybe because Brazilians, and I'm not generalizing, but the Brazilians I know, we might have a similar culture where when we express ourselves we're lively, we use our hands or things of that nature.
Right, that's right.
Whereas other cultures, it's different. And so learners, I think the thing is, what I would encourage you to be is, thank you, Life is a Gift, remember. One of the things that I would encourage you to be is how you display your passions on you, right? One other thing I would ask you learners to think about is that how you display your passion is about you. And in addition to that is that, and I need to say this in terms of integrity, your definition of what teacher is, or what it should be, or what it should look like, or what you think it should look like, maybe you have the opportunity to get yourself out of your comfort zone and expand that. Because there still is, and I'm going to challenge the learners on this, respectfully learners, when you think of a teacher, and if someone asks you to describe that teacher, where they're from, what they look like, things of that nature, I wonder what your answer would be. And so I say that not in terms of, but I ask you to think about it. Just because I'm from the United States of America, and I need to say this. Yes, my native language is English, and yes, I'm very glad about that. I understand the privilege of being American. But just because I'm a native English speaker does not make me a good teacher. Teaching is an art, it's a skill, it's a profession. I had to get trained on it. And some of you respectfully have bias that you might not necessarily thought of, thinking about what a teacher should be. And then when you see Teacher Rodrigo and I, you're like, you're teaching English?
That's right. So, all right, look at this, man. Some of the questions I get is, well, should I have class with a native speaker or with a Brazilian or with and then my answer is just like, and I don't know, man. Does this person have the qualifications to be a teacher? Because what I know is that, I mean, if I had to recommend Teacher Will, I would highly recommend, because I know the professional you are. I mean, I've seen what you have done, and then I highly recommend Teacher Will. I would just say, well, who is going to be your native speaker? Is it going to be Teacher Will? Go for it. I'm sure you are in good hands. He is a great professional. I've seen his work. I have experienced that. So I can highly recommend you. And then, but there are some of the native speakers that are just native speakers. For example, I don't feel like I'm capable of speaking Portuguese, even though I am Brazilian. Born and raised, 34 years old, I'm Brazilian. I speak perfect Portuguese, man. Any level of Portuguese you play for me, my listening is great. My speaking is perfect. I can read it.
You just said, brother, here's the dealio. You just said the operative word. So I need to bring the learners back, because I'm gonna give you my perspective on this.
All right.
You said qualifications. You said, no, let me say this calm, savagely. You said qualifications, correct? Now let me answer your question this way. Everybody has preference. There are some people that want to take so let me say it like this. There are some people that want to have a non-native teacher because at the end of the day they feel more comfortable, because they feel more in line, because it's kind of like, hey, they understand the struggle of what it means to learn the language. That's one aspect. There's some people that prefer native teachers because it's kind of like they feel that they might get more of the natural, they might want to know more about the cultural aspect of English. That's fine. So everybody has preference, but let me say the word that you said. You said qualifications. Qualifications to me means one that has work experience, skills and talents, educational background, and if possible, if at all possible, because economics can be difficult for some people, is certified. Is a certified, qualified instructor that has done some sort, if they have the ability to do it. Now, I understand that for everybody that is taboo, and I'm not saying, so let me make this extremely personal for me, because I'm not trying to insult anybody.
That's right.
My name is Teacher Will, and one of the reasons why I chose, it's just me, one of the reasons why I chose to go back and get my TESOL certification is because if I wanted to be qualified in the subject. I came from the business world, right? And so if I'm going to teach, I had the economic resources to do it, to make it. So for me, that's why I say I'm a certified qualified teacher, TESOL instructor. I know everybody doesn't have that ability to do it. I would encourage anybody. That's one component. That is one component of qualifications. So it ranges, ladies and gentlemen. That's why I'm saying to you, I'm like, listen, if I'm going to go to a doctor, God forbid, if I'm sick and Teacher Rodrigo is a certified doctor, I would prefer going to him than Dr. William, who has no certification.
Exactly. Oh, but
So,
you've watched Grey's Anatomy from back to back. I mean, you're a doctor now, man.
Right? So my thing is, I think, right, but I think that's the thing.
I watched House.
Right. Yeah, but I watch House, but I think that's the thing. You made the operative word. A person makes that determination. What does qualification learn? Right? I paid for that. I paid for and I'm sorry, one of the reasons I did was, if you really want to be honest, I'm like, okay, I came from the business world, and you know what? I'm like, listen, I wanted my degree, I wanted my sheepskin, I wanted my certification. Why? Because of what I've experienced. Last one hired, first one fired. Some people know what that means. Okay? So therefore, what I would encourage anybody is this, for any teachers out there, if you have the academic or if you have the economic resources to do it, get certified. And if you don't have the resources to do it, definitely do professional development. Definitely get your hands down. But learners, you have a right. Would I go to a doctor? This is what I find so intellectually curious. How interesting it is. And again, it's your reason for teaching. People come on, there's a difference between teaching on social media and teaching as a profession. And I'm not knocking what anybody does, because that's a personal right. I'm just saying, for me, I'm like, I want to have the most qualifications because I've been in an environment in my life where it says you didn't have this, you didn't have that, you didn't have that. Learners, you owe that at the end of the day. You owe it to yourself to figure out what qualification means. And one last thing. Anybody that has been in this field for a while, such as Teacher Rodrigo, anybody that's qualified as a teacher, that you pay for what you get.
That's right.
You pay for what you get. You can find teachers out there, and again, I understand that money is challenging, particularly in this time period, but I really need to say this. You can find teachers out there online, face-to-face, whatever it is, for as little as $1 an hour, all the way up to $500 an hour. That is your choice. But ultimately, you pay for what you get, and sometimes some of you are so worried about the price and not the quality.
That's right.
But you pay for what you get. How interesting it is that when it comes to teaching, people will say, which I understand, when people say, "Oh, teacher, well, your price is too expensive," I sit back and I say, I definitely respect that. I understand that. No problem. You're paying for a teacher that is a certified, qualified TESOL instructor with over 11 years of experience. So at the end of the day, what I'm saying is how interesting it is. People will have no problem paying to go to the doctor or paying to go to the nurse or paying to go to this or that or whatever like that. But when it comes to teaching, they normally don't have money for it. Okay, I understand that. You pay for what you get for it. So there's always somebody that you can find a price. But at least, learners, do have an interview with the teacher and ask him or her, what are their qualifications? That's like, if I'm going to go to Teacher Rodrigo and I'm going to give Teacher Rodrigo like $30 an hour or $300 an hour, and I'm going to give him that money and I'm not going to ask him, well, can you tell me your qualifications? I'm sorry, money.
Yeah. So look at this, Teacher Will, we don't have a lot of time here, but I would like to continue this conversation. Would you be willing to continue?
Yeah. Let's do it. You got me jazzed. Just give me 1 minute. I'm going to get some more tea, and we're going. So I'll be right back, okay?
Sounds like a plan.
All right.
So, all right, just go get your tea. I'm going to talk to people here, and then we're going to continue this conversation, all right? All right, so guys, I hope you guys are enjoying this conversation today. I'm talking to Teacher Will. And, well, this conversation will be saved on my profile for 24 hours. So if you guys are willing to come in here and watch that again, it's going to be awesome to have you guys coming back and forth watching the video. So if you guys don't have well, anything to do right now, just go there. I'm going to restart this conversation. Please go there, follow my profile. We have a lot of things going on, a lot of videos regarding American English pronunciation and some other topics. It's going to be great having you guys here. We're going to continue this conversation, so do not go anywhere. This is your chance now to just go there, follow Teacher Will, follow my profile if you came from Teacher Will's profile. We're going to continue this conversation. You know this is the deal. My God, are you guys excited as I am right now? Because I am super excited about this conversation. Look at this. We've been talking for 1 hour, and it feels like 20 minutes to me. Because every time I talk to Teacher Will, I always have some great insights for my next conversations with my students, with my next lives, with my next classes and everything. So I hope you guys are enjoying this. Go there, follow Teacher Will, follow me if you came from Teacher Will's profile, and we're going to continue this. By the way, do you guys have any questions to me or to Teacher Will? Save it, because we're coming back live. So I'm excited, man. I'm so pumped. I'm going to drink some water right now, and we're coming back in exactly 1 minute. So I'll see you guys on the live in 1 minute. Invite your friends. You know this conversation is great. Invite your friends to be here with us, okay? I'll see you guys in a minute. Hold on a second. Shaboy!